How are we now? Better? There we go. Sorry. I was messing up the space and stuff. Got to plug the mic back in. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks for that. Um, thank you. All right, now we're in business. It's always fucking something. All right. So, I also love the chat delay where you could sit there talking for like 2 minutes. And it's like, and all of a sudden you get 10 messages saying, there's no sound, there's no sound, there's no sound. It's like, and then you get to the point where it's like, yeah, no, there's fucking sound. I hate tech. I love tech, but I hate it. Anyway, hello. How are you all hanging up? Okay, let's start again. How are you holding up? How are you holding up? We haven't seen any real meltdowns yet, but we're definitely seeing some nerves. Right? We're definitely seeing some nerves, and people are starting to just sort of that dissonance, and they're going, oh no. Right? I saw Patton Oswalt tweet that it's just, it's going exactly as you'd expect. It's funny. It's pretty fucking funny. Anyway, I spent some time doing some work, but also Googling American jokes and like going onto like images to see if there's like funny memes about America. There's quite a few. It's good. So anyway, we'll go through some of them. So there's no sleep yet. So you're actually staying up, Diane. Goodness. Holding up just about. Well, I think, okay, here's a tip for mental health. If you're not, I think it's actually really healthy to be somewhat class conscious and detached from the outcome. I think knowing that nothing material is really going to change, I think that it's either way. I think it's I don't know, there's some safety in hating them both. I'm not invested in the outcome. I'm worried and concerned about the outcome. Obviously, I don't support either of them. I think that the lesser of two evils argument is a fallacious one, because I think people don't understand who the lesser of two evils actually is. But, whatever. It's all done. So I'm just having a look, right? I'm still catching up, but I thought I'm going to read some American jokes. Let's read some American jokes. Let's just use it. This one was funny. Where was it? Why do people come to America? People come to this country from all over the world to pursue their dreams of driving a taxi or selling hot dogs or working in a sweatshop. That's a bit wrong. Fucking true, but I was talking about the American dream, right? I think the American dream largely exists for the elites and not for, actual people. But anyway, it is funny that they've sold that narrative, though, when you think about it. Right? Actually, I'm not going to tell some of these jokes because they're actually pretty bad. But anyway, there are some funny ones, though. I love how they say like that the left can't meme, but the thing is the right can't. It's just that the right have more the truth on their side, and truth is more effective than complexity and all of this sort of stuff. So by design, the left won't be able to meme because comedy is based in its universal truths, and you can't have comedy without truth. And if you're woke, you can't do comedy because you're telling lies, and people don't relate to your fucking things. They're laughing at you, not with you, right? So, but a lot of the right can't meme either. That's my point. When you actually go looking, like there are some good ones, but like, they're all pretty shit. Most memes are pretty shit. It's actually a lot harder to do a meme than you would actually think. Right? People don't think some people are just good at it and make it look easy, but like anything, like a good joke or anything, there's an art to it. So anyway, how are you all doing? So Mr. Talon got drunk. Good God. That's probably the best fucking thing you could do right now. um, are the chats popping up? Hang on. The chat's popping up? Let me refresh the cache. Here we go. Try that, see if it comes up. So you got drunk. That's a good one. I'm catching up on what happened, right? I'm still catching up because I was actually doing some work, but I thought I'd just react in real time. So it seems that the edge lord, or the dick lord, or whatever his fucking name is. What's his name? Oh, the president. Right. I've been defending him too much today. So let's just fucking not defend him. He fucking tweeted what was it? We're up big, but they are trying to steal the election. They will never let them do it. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? This is the president of the United States accusing their opposition of fucking stealing the election. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, that's going to get people to the polls. That's going to get his supporters to the polls. But fucking hell, there used to be rules. You remember when there were rules? And we had rules, and like all of my life, all of my childhood, I sat there, I was always rebellious and questioning authority, and I just slowly accepted throughout my 30s. You get beaten down over time and you accept that there are rules. And then all of a sudden, you finally acclimate, you finally accept that there's fucking rules out there and that you've got to abide, and your spirit's crushed and you lose your dreams and you give up hope and all those things. And then all of a sudden, there's no rules. Because this is all a big conspiracy against me. It's all about me and the world being against me. The reason, yes, to quote Carlin, the reason they call it the American dream is because you have to be asleep to believe it. Oh, fuck. I would love to. Again, he's not here. So there's plenty of comics that would have the same perspective, right? But I would love to know what Carlin would have to say about the world today. Because it may, we're talking about this on the earlier stream today. People are speculating that Carlin would have been cancelled. But I'm also wondering if he may have been so far gone like into the establishment of rich people that he might have actually just been another blue check wanker that's selling out and telling people to vote. I wonder. Because there's something about wealth, right? And this is something I've talked about Jimmy Dore before, but something that Jimmy Dore talks about a lot is the reason why blue checks hate and the rich hate Trump so much, right? Because he's a mirror for them and their attitude, right? He makes the mask slip, right? Which is this idea, like one thing that Jimmy Dore loves doing is like punching upwards, right? He's very big on punching upwards. And I agree to an extent. But he says that like, so he talks about Jungian's shadow, the Jung's shadow. Like he sort of bangs on about it a bit, to be honest. But he's right, which is that the reason they hate Trump is because they are Trump, but he is their dark side that they don't want anyone to see. And I find that theory very interesting because when you again, this is way out of my fucking area. I only know Jung on a superficial level, right? Which is still more than most people, but still superficially. And but that idea that you project what you project on your shadow onto others, right? And it's a really compelling theory because watching these blue checks, man, where they're like people that are worth $100 million or millions of fucking dollars, preaching at the working class and lecturing them about not voting and voting against their interests. It's like, what? You don't fucking know what their interests are. You lost touch years ago. Right? It doesn't affect you. It doesn't actually have any material impact on their life, right? Who it does affect, right? Again, like this whole trans issue. It's being able to be comfortable with trans women in spaces. Like, again, I'm not going to fucking bang on about it, but I'm just going to talk about it. It's innately privileged to think that that's not an issue because it's not going to affect you and it doesn't affect you. Because if you're not in public places that are unsafe, if you're not in prisons, you're not in hospital, you're not in public hospital where you don't have control, can we just stop listening to fucking Twitter and rich people? That'd be a good start. I told Paul not to sneak in, but he's still sneaking in. Hello, Paul's here. We should interview him about the election. He has no idea what's going on. All he did was text me today and say, hey, have they blown up yet? But like, seriously, like, this is a thing where I don't understand this whole, like, I think 2020 has really just shown there's still a real class problem here, right? I think if policies don't affect you, yes, exactly. Millionaires do not end up in a rape refuge. They don't end up in shelters. They don't end up in shared hospital wards. They don't end up in shared psychiatric wards. They don't end up in like public toilets. Most of them, you know, if they're in entertainment, they've got a private bathroom. It doesn't affect them. Okay. And so I think that we need to stop listening to people who aren't actually impacted and start listening to people who are. Right. And that's where, why is Oz so focused on the US election? Because you're fucking dragging us all down with you. That's why. Because our economy is linked to yours. We're an ally of your fucking nation and you're fucking it up. And also I'm a political scientist and I'm talking about the culture wars, which is down, and we're all downwind from your stupid bullshit. So yeah, we're allowed to be interested in it. That's why we're interested, because it fucking affects us. Yeah, you cunt. Paul, I don't know if you heard that because of the compressor. Paul just said, yeah, cunt. You're welcome. The economy rocks. It appears we have, I don't know. Behave yourself, Robin. Get America trolls. I'm fucking like, I will roast you because you're fucking dumb. I'll win. I don't know if it's friendly or a fuckwit. Let's play a game. Let's vote. Is it friendly or fuckwit? Oh, there's no bigger cult than the cult of the United States of America. I wish they'd all just fuck off. I think I said this last week. Come sit. Is there room? There's room. You can squeeze in.
I'll just say hello.
No, come and squeeze in. This is Paul. There is no greater cult than the cult of America. I said last week, they need a wall. They definitely need a wall, but it needs fucking signal blocking on it so they can't use the internet as well. Fucking pissing us off. Get lost. Yeah, this setup's way better. It's got like, I'm on a recliner, I'm comfortable, right? I'm good. I got the screen up there so I can see. I'm happy here. This is my new spot. I'm good.
That's cool.
Yeah. George just says hi.
Sorry.
Come and sit.
You know, politics is not my thing.
No, come and sit. We'll just do some fucking not politics. That's the idea. The idea is to not talk politics and just talk shit about Americans, which you have some views on. Come on. Because I always end up rambling about fucking culture wars bullshit.
I just got here. I need some...
Come and sit then. Yeah, I just got here. See, look, now, yeah. But he hasn't done his makeup.
My makeup?
I'm letting you on. Come and sit. Anyway, hello. Okay. Now, the reason why Australians are so interested, yeah, they're infected. They literally are infected. Okay, look. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. But is anyone surprised that America fucked up the corona situation? Is anyone shocked? Here we go. Hello. Is anyone shocked? That's a really not flattering angle, anyway, for you.
Yeah, well, you see my moves.
Yeah, hello. Is anyone surprised that they fucked it up? Like, when the virus first hit and we were all like, yep, we'll go lockdown, right? We'll go, yeah, so 99 AU says, why are we so focused on the US election? We have no fucking choice. They're the loud chewers of the world. They're just fucking loud and shouting and fucking taking over everything, and your loud, audacious, disgusting president has dominated fucking all of our minds and we're sick of it. We're forced. This is a fucking hostage situation at this point. So don't fucking come here saying we can't talk about America because we're fucking impacted by it. Also, if you drag us into fucking wars, we're allies. I want to fucking say, I think the whole world should have a fucking vote on the US president.
I'm not an ally. I do what I want.
Well, there are no allies, only interests, as they say. And that was going to be some of the stuff that I was going to talk about. But yes, our cheapskate media shoves it down our throats. Well, I'm assuming their cheapskate media shoves it down our throats, completely destroys all of our long-standing fucking cultural institutions, broadcasters, drags all of our television down to the lowest fucking common denominator of bikini and naked people. Fucking naked people and bogans trying to get married, right?
It's Walmart live webcam.
Yeah, Walmart live 24/7 because it's all we can afford to fucking produce now because the government, neoliberal politics has infected our government and they won't invest in the arts or fucking culture anymore. The only culture we've got is your bullshit reality TV. So we want to fucking say. We're forced to fucking talk on your tech and your fucking... it is Stockholm Syndrome though, because I do fucking love to hate them. I do love Americans. I do love them, but I fucking hate them too.
Maybe since we're so affected, we should get half votes.
Yeah, there we go. We solved the world's problem right there. Everyone in the world gets 50% of a vote on the fucking US president. Ralph Nader would be elected unopposed. No, but seriously, I like how people say Ralph Nader.
Yeah, who's that?
He ran for the Greens. He was the main Greens president. He was the main third party contender for in the 80s and 90s. I'm way out of touch. What? In the 80s and 90s. You don't even know who the fucking current candidates are. That's so funny. Yeah. See, this is why ordinary people solve problems. I told you this. I said this because I would never have suggested that solution. But that sounds like a good one. China and India get 50% of the vote of all of the Americans. I can't see how that would go wrong. Can't see how the CCP would fuck that up. But, you know, that... Oh, fuck me. Jeb Bush wins the meme vote. What's happening there? What's actually happening? But yes, so if anyone wants to ask why Australians care about the US election, is because, well, first of all, I have this stream because I don't fucking care, but I have to because all of the media are being dickheads. And so I'm just going to sit here and be a fucking pressure valve for all of it. My thrilling coverage from earlier. But but also, right, your fucking cults have infected us. Your woke cult, your mega cult, your government can't make me wear a fucking mask because of my freedom. You want freedom? Right? So that's a fucking American stupid thing. I was talking about this earlier. They die on all the wrong fucking hills. Why are you dying on the 5G hill, you idiots? Is anyone surprised? That's my question. Is anyone really, as much as we say this is funny and I'm not, like anyone who's surprised by any of this, it's like, you don't know America very well, do you? They're fucking idiots. Collectively speaking, individual Americans I love. Some of my favorite people are Americans. But collectively, what the fuck, America? What the fuck? Right? I love how... I was saying this earlier, again, for those who weren't there before, which is the thing that I think a lot of Americans don't understand. Like, especially people with Trump derangement syndrome. They go, this is not who we are. This is not what America is. This is not what American politics is about. And like anybody outside of those shores is like, I can't imagine that you would have any different kind of president. That is exactly who you are. And that's the thing is like, that's that whole...
collective group, I would agree.
As a collective, Trump is an amalgamation of every fucking like just American tourist, fucking LinkedIn wanker, fucking MLM scammer, church fucking televangelism, corporate fucking bullshit, CEO, at will employment, a person who can just do whatever the fuck they want because they're rich, person with a golden fucking toilet, all money, no class, bullies. That is America as a culture. It's funny. Anyway, so yeah, that's why. What? Guns. Jesus, fucking.
I want some guns.
Yeah. What is it that Mr. Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
They took our jobs.
Took our jobs.
I have to go now.
Yeah, he's going. Oh man. Anyway, that was Paul's deep political commentary. Was listening to me rant, sitting there, vaping and nodding along. That's usually how it goes. This is why I'm talking to all of you, because he doesn't want my crazy fucking rants.
Goodbye.
Dude. Anyway, hello. Is anyone watching? I got 15 people watching. Okay. 15 minus Periscope, because Periscope doesn't show on this thing. Anyway, so where's the election at? I reckon I should cover every fucking election, because I'll never actually getting around to covering any of it. That's the fun part. The fun part is the bit where you don't know if I'm going to actually get to the point or not. So, if anyone is on my Periscope and has moderator privileges, I would like to suggest that you just proactively fucking sit there and smite, because I have a feeling that the fucking, they're on heat. They're on heat. So anyway, what do we got? Yeah, build the wall around the US. It's for the best. I think that's what we the world took a vote and you're all voted off the island. I hope they get to Mars and I hope they all fuck off and leave us here. Can we just actually really support like America's colonization of Mars? But the only condition is that they all have to fuck off and just go. I can hear Paul laughing at that one. So like what we'll do is we'll just say, absolutely, let's give them all of the money. Absolutely. I think America, like China, actually, you know what? China should back out of Russia, China, everyone, just back out of the fucking Mars race. Let them go and let them think that they're doing it. So they all go. And then we'll say, yeah, we're all going to join you. We're just going to get the next spaceship. We're going to get the next rocket to Mars. You go ahead and we'll join you. And then we just don't. That reminds me of the time when I got my nose pierced with my friend. And she said, you go first. I got my nose pierced. And then she backed out. And then I ended up the only person with a pierced nose. It's like that. Yeah, it's like, you go to Mars. You go to Mars. We'll catch up. And then we'll just pretend to like, oh, we lost signal. Oh, like we can't, oh, sorry, we broke down. I got stuck in traffic. Sounds like, but the good Americans can stay. So we'll let selective people, cool people in, like some of the best musicians and artists and comedians and, like all of those sorts of things. But collectively, we'll just kind of just make it a thing that we just don't tell the Americans that they just let them go to Mars and we'll just stay put. And like, yeah, we're going to get the next rocket. It went in a weird direction, didn't it? This is what you're here for, right? Yes, like Mr. Taleb said, there's an election. You would never have known. See, do you know why I care about the US election? First of all, because your fucking cult has fucking destroyed my political party and political fucking career, right? And my ability to be a woman, right? You fuckwits. But also, it's all over the fucking news. Our public broadcaster covering the fucking US election. Our news channels covering the US election. Fucking, it's like, who cares? It's that, or I flick to the fucking project. The brains trust at the fucking project. Or I watch fucking whatever, Some bogan slut wants a fucking husband. Game show round 3. I don't know what they're called, but like fucking variations on The Bachelor and like dumb cunt fucking Central. Who knows, right? They're all imports from America. They'll come back with tripods. I don't understand that joke. Explain the joke, Connie. Oh, I don't understand. Why would they come back with tripods? I get it. Maybe I'm being literal. Maybe I missed the joke. Anyway. But look, I'm going to look, let me screen share. This is the ABC. This is why Australians care about the fucking look. This is ABC News with everything that's happening with 23 million people front and page. See? This is why we care, because we fucking have to. There's nothing else. There is nothing but Trump. Right? They're still predicting a Biden win. Well, not predicting, but saying he's ahead. This is interesting. But a lot of it's like, yeah, goodness me. Look, this is why Australia cares about the fucking election. Oh, look, elections and rugby and fucking mortgages. That's what Australians care about, pretty much. Right? Oh, and booze, of course. Anyway. Oh, that's the coronavirus. Remember that? Anyway. But anyway, is anyone actually fucking... Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay, Diane. Yes, War of the Worlds. Yes, I forgot about that. Right? Little reminded. I wasn't thinking about it. Yes, they did. They came in. Oh, that'd be funny. Okay, I get the joke now. But yeah, fucking, this is our life. This is the thing, right? You know what? And this is why this whole fucking thing, like, it's not unlike the whole gender debate, right? This idea that like men are women, but women are fucking all these variations of body parts. But I'm a woman, but you're all these other words. It's like that with America. Like, they don't get it. They don't get, right, how dominant they are in our world and that what an imposition they are on our fucking spaces. There's parallels, and this is why it's a fucking American thing, and it's why it pisses me off, right, is this idea that, like, America, like, we have this is not a fucking nationalist fucking bullshit. This is a fact that our culture, Australia, the thing that makes us uniquely Australian, right? Dumb cunt wants a husband. Yeah, yeah. Oh, God, I come up with some shit, don't I? Anyway. No, but the thing is, they don't realise. I think they think that they are in the United States and it's their business and it's private business, right? It's not dissimilar to men and women, right? The idea is like, hey, do you not understand that we've got our own fucking stuff going on, our own problems, our own our own fucking, needs, all right? This is the thing about, like, and you just come in and you just go, nope, right? This is ours now. We're claiming it. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's like that with America. And that's why, I can see some of that. And that's why I'm always a little bit, okay. The thing that people do when they wrap all of these academic arguments, I think a lot of the problems we're having now between like the left versus the right is that people are largely saying the same fucking things. But it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And the problem is, and this is why this like white supremacy of the wokeness is just so fucking funny and ridiculous, because they're literally the same ideas, but they're said differently. And it's the same thing with things like nationalism or patriotism and those sorts of things, right? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you critique it. Like for me, like critiquing the wokes from the left, it's like, well, no, because you're not left wing. Here's why, right? And also just the thing with how, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I could turn around and say the US as you know, is committing cultural hegemony. They are so dominant on our culture that we really should be pushing back against this as socialists, right? And as in terms of our national identity and culture and norms and problems and policy problems, we have problems that are unique to Australia. So, you know, decolonization is an interesting theory, but it applies largely to America, American policing, American culture, right? That's something that we can say from the left. The thing about Pauline Hanson is that she says, fucking being swamped by fucking Asians, you cunt. So I think that that's one thing that we need to be more forgiving of. And this is why I think what I say when most people are good and most people agree, they just are wrapped up in a different package. I think that's the point. Is that if you can get past, this is why I hate jargon, because basically the whole woke movement is jargon. It's hate speech wrapped in fucking fancy language. It's the exact same rhetoric that white supremacists and fucking KKK and all these people have said for years, but they've wrapped it in a nice little, like, obfuscating package to make it look like it's coming from a good place. It isn't. It's still culturally hegemonic. It is still basically the cult of the United States. It is dominant. It uses American values such as at-will employment, and the boss can do whatever the fuck the boss wants, and we can fire you for fucking minor, like, differences of opinion. That's not a thing here. Okay? Like, well, it's more and more, but at the same time, it's not a thing legally, right? You can't fire someone for a fucking political belief here. And if you did, you'd get fucking, you know, you have the right to sue for unfair dismissal. And that's the thing, right? It's like, well, maybe we need to learn to be more forgiving of good ideas in imperfect packages, right? And that's like, you saw that with Paul. Paul just said, yeah, everyone should get 50% vote. And I was like, that's not a terrible idea. The world should vote in the US fucking presidency, or at least get a say. Maybe you should vote in the primaries for the candidates, right? Maybe that should be a thing. The Americans can vote, but the international community gets a say in who's fucking selected, so that you don't end up with fucking warmongers as the two candidates. But there's got to be, you know, there's ways to do these things. There's no allies, only interests, right? But this is the thing. I know I'm just rambling. Am I rambling? Yes, probably. But my point is that this is where I think I've talked about this a bit, and I'm not the most charitable because I'm also a smartass. That's why I'm in conflict. I fucking love this. I love America, but I hate it, right? I find it funny and horrifying, and it's okay to have, like, competing feelings and thoughts and ideas. My brain just works in contradictory ways, and that's okay. Beginning of this, I'll probably say the exact opposite things that I was saying at the beginning of the stream, because that's how my brain works. Because my brain changes the context of what I'm saying, and I don't realize that I'm saying the opposite thing because in my mind the context has actually changed, right? So yes, US foreign policy and the woke both come across like 19th century upper middle class with their condescending benevolence and white man's burden mentality. Absolutely. And I was talking to Sam on this morning's stream about that stuff. Do look into that stuff, right? The role that postmodernism has played in, like, absolutely destroying the fucking left in America, because they basically just replaced Marxism with postmodernism, and they don't have an alternative in their minds. They don't know. They think they just really, like, even the most staunch socialists that I know in America, right? They still have it a little backwards. They were very effective at the brainwashing when it comes to Marxism there. And people who just believe that Venezuela's they're not meddling with that shit. I just find that astonishing. That there's the international aspect of this is largely missing. And that's maybe, again, that's just because it's something that that I see, right, an experience, because I've also grew up at a time when Australian culture was a lot more defined. Yes, it was fucking to the rest of the world, it was Crocodile Dundee and fucking Steve Irwin and, you know, all of those sorts of things. But also we are very smart. We're a good society. We're good people. We don't always get it right, but, you know, we're closer to getting it good than a lot of other people. And that's why, you know, that Australian that sense of look, we should look at Australia and be proud. And that's what, again, sorry, that was my tangent. I was sitting there saying about how you can wrap the most disgusting ideas in big words. Okay. And you can also wrap great ideas in the wrong words or words. And this is where this is why I get frustrated with the smugness from Democrats. They're just elites and people who don't like the fact that I swear. So I'm still smarter than them. Right? I swear. So I like using plain language. I just fucking swear. And there's humor in it. Right? There's humor in it. It's just, I'm going for the joke most of the time. But you can have both. And you can be contradictory in your thoughts, right? That's okay. It's a confusing time, right? I don't know who I want to win. I don't know who I would want to win. I don't know how I feel about either outcome. I'm nervous about both outcomes. And I think that that's a rational fucking perspective to have right now, right? But, do look into I think, and this is something that I'm writing about in the America Online chapter that I'm working on in my head. I haven't written it yet. It's in my head. But I've dot pointed it. Is that largely America, I think that we underestimated the cultural gap just because we all spoke English. That they were just, I think I've talked about this on other streams, right? Where I think one thing that I think that I saw it early at 9/11 where they were saying things that just don't make sense. Like they literally they mean different things. Like I also found out that Americans, like if you're using, like in cooking, right? If you're using like cups or quarter cups or whatever, their cups measure differently to our cups. I thought that apparently, I don't know whether that, like they have different measurements for cup. Right? Yeah, people don't like others swearing, fuck them, right? Don't watch. Okay? That's great. Don't watch. Right? But don't complain to anyone else who watches because some people aren't like sensitive cunts. All right? They aren't fucking, anyway. Eat a bag of dicks, all of you. There's plenty of discards from what I've heard. I hear there's a few in the fucking... I hear that there's quite a few discarded dicks in the dumpster behind the BBC building and the ABC building. Too far? I'm going to get in trouble. Too far? I hear there's a lot of discarded dicks. So if you can find a bag of dicks somewhere, I would suggest that you look sort of at the headquarters, around the tech company campuses, university campuses and various other places. You may find a bag of discarded dicks. You might get lucky. Think of it like Fallout 76. I play Fallout. Think of it like that. I'm going to go looking. I'm looking for bag of dicks. You may find a discarded bag of dicks. If you do, and you've got a problem with me swearing, you can eat that bag of discarded dicks. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm going to get in fucking trouble. I don't care. I do what I want. This is my art. Art is free. For a while. I haven't even had anything to drink. Should I start drinking on stream? Paul yelled at yes. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, maybe we should get drunk. Fucking just go for it. Paul's not allowed to get drunk, though. Because the last time Paul drank on stream, Paul drank too much and then disappeared and had to vomit. Yep, it is. It's dick freeganism. It's see. Okay, here we go. Let's suspend this. All right, let's use the principle of charity and assume that there's a public benefit in there's a public good in discarded bags of dicks. Does The Guardian have an office? I thought it was just a yurt set up in Hyde Park. I think it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why anyone who works in a fucking virtual publication has an office anymore. I've never Yeah, I don't get it, but that's. I think that the virus was good because it's something that I've always done is just work from home. Like I've never worked. The reason why I don't work for an employer is because I fucking hate going into an office. I hate fluorescent lights. Right? Drunk Taya must be a force of nature. No, I'm the same. I'm fucking the same. I just basically talk more shit and care less. And that's even worse. Like, this is me with a filter, right? Talking about discarded bags of dicks. Fuck it. I'm a comedian. I identify as a comedian. I'm living as my authentic self. And you can't question it because that's my identity. I identify as a comedian. So eat shit. Eat my bag of dicks. I don't know which order to do that in. That's where my advice, that's where I go out of my lane. I don't know the order in which to eat dicks or shit. Okay, but, eat them in whichever order you feel appropriate. What the fuck am I talking about? How's the election going? This is how, see this right here, this is a healthy response to this situation, which is who gives a fuck what happens? It's all ridiculous. It's all going to make billionaires richer. It's all going to end in fucking war and profit, right? It's all the same bullshit and we're all fucked. So let's just enjoy it. Right? That's the thing. Let's just say whatever the fuck we want. Also, I want to see how far I can go. And knowing that they're all like fucking like extra cancelling streams and I still somehow inexplicably stay up. I found out that like even though I've been doing all the gender critical stuff and all that stuff, they promote all of my posts. I get bumped in the feed. I get fucking like promoted and that my friends get notified when I post, all of those things, right? It's almost like they're pushing me and it's very weird. It's like I feel like Facebook are using me as a fucking like AB thing, like test case, which is not actually implausible because it's been known that they do actually conduct this type of research. And I imagine I would be a good fucking test. Whether they can nudge me to the right or nudge me to the left or whether I can, all of those sorts of things. I'm absolutely somebody who is a good person for that, right? So BBC currently showing Biden 223, FUT 213. All right. Yeah, that's what the ABC, Australian, ABC are generously reporting. Hang on, let me have a look here. So the ABC... See, I'm actually saying if the ABC and BBC are projecting Trump wins, then Trump's winning, right? Because they're all sitting there and they're all sitting there going, oh no, the vulva owners don't like being called that. And it's almost like they switch their fucking vote. Oh no, what will we say to the vulva owners? Oops, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. Anyway, told ya. Some of my vids have heaps of ads. Yeah, sorry, Lumi. What happened was that I accidentally forgot when I turned on monetization. I apologize. I have to go back and turn. It's a manual exercise, video by video, because they're quite long, and they do have heaps of ads. And I'm sorry about that because what happened was I qualified for monetization and I just hit the accept button and it automatically put all of the options on there. I prefer to put non-intrusive, skippable type things on them. But my videos actually do run heaps of ads, but I haven't been demonetized. I haven't gotten a red yet. I've got a couple of yellows, but that's because I use certain keywords and it's just instant, I imagine. So it's interesting to see how someone who's not like, again, comparing someone like me to say someone like Posey or someone who has sort of inched to the right. Again, I don't have it. Oh shit, just dropped my water. Hang on. Sorry. Someone who's inched to the right, so to, technically speaking, in the culture wars, right? I'm still largely staying left and it hasn't hurt me because I do still try I just try to be honest and truthful. And I try, like, we have a laugh, right? And I did joke about, okay, so I'm not getting dollars. I get about, I think, 50 cents per video. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. My CPA, I don't get a big cut. But yeah, but it, you know, it all adds up. So, but yeah, it's because, you know, I've got to, the way to make money with these things is to make 10-minute clips. I just don't have the time. But yeah, I've got to retroactively go and like get rid of those fucking unskippable mid-roll ads because I hate them. They're terrible UX and they're intrusive. But I do try to put on sort of just the displays and stuff around the ad, not things that interrupt your watching, because it's fucking stupid, right? No one watches that shit. Do it yourself with Wix. Here you go. Here's an endorsement. Do you need a website? Why not do it yourself with Wix? Fucking hell. Anyway. So, glitterbombyourenemies.com has a range of different Johnsons you can send to someone to tell them that you don't like them. I'm a big fan of, I hope, do you know what I hope? I was saying some of this morning. Do you know what I hope? Sometimes I repeat because I'm trying to re-anchor my thoughts. I hope that fatigue makes people like do what I've done, which is you reach a point where you just go, fuck it. You know, I don't care. Fuck it. I'm done. I quit. I'm just going to fucking make fun of it all. Right. And I think most people just have reached that point with woke shit. It's like, call me a racist. I don't care. Get a new word. Get a new term. That's fucking old. Right. Eventually, you know, when they run out of names and they run out of fucking things and they strip literally everything of its gravity, like being called, it's like, I'm a fascist. Okay. Yep. Sure. All right. That's what that's what our kids call us. So what do you got? Karen? Oh, how original. You're a meme. You're clearly a fucking internet addict and have no original ideas or thoughts or words, right? Even just like the definition of TERF is just ridiculous. It just doesn't apply to most people anymore, right? It's just memes. Just imagine that you're just talking to a fucking robot that's just spouting like memes. It's like they're just spitting out a fucking, like, no better than bots, if not being bots, right? But it is funny because eventually you just have a skin for it and you go, yeah. And that's the thing, right? I did a rant this morning. I did an actual post, right, on Facebook about this idea that how many times does the left have to lose unlosable elections before they turn around and go, hey, fuck, maybe we should talk to those people that we block and lecture and, you know, scream at. And maybe we need to actually figure out why and figure out what they think and how they think and see how they can be won over. Again, this was what I was talking about this morning with Twitter, which is that it's like they can fix the problem and just fucking engage the fucking stakeholders. Have a conversation. Figure it out. Talk it out. Lock everyone in a fucking room and say, figure it out. Get Judge Judy. Me and Judge Judy should knock heads together, serve fucking sandwiches. Yes, gluten-free and vegan and fucking all that shit. We'll do all of that stuff, okay? But we'll have a big conference where it's going to get messy. There's probably going to be jelly wrestling and probably fucking like punch-ups, and it's going to get scrappy, but we're going to bond, okay? I remember that, okay, this is back from when I was like in NUS. And it was like you had your faction wars and you just knew you were part of a faction. And that was the faction. And it was like Lord of the fucking Flies because we were all, okay, the NUS conference that I went to was on campus at the University of Ballarat. And we were all at the conference, but we were all staying in the same spot. We were all staying on the university campus, right? And that was the University of Ballarat, wasn't it? No, because I went to Canberra and Ballarat. I went to a few, but the one. Okay, don't get fucking distracted, Taya. the point is we were all staying in the same place, right? We were forced to fucking get along. And right, I still remember, right? Also, don't drink 50-cent beer. Don't drink 50-cent beer. It's not good for you. Don't do it. Take my advice. Student politics, don't drink 50-cent beer. I threw up in the bushes. I don't throw up from alcohol, and I threw up in the bushes. I maintain that I was allergic, that I had an allergic reaction. Anyway, but I'm saying we were forced to sort of live together and be with people we don't like, right? And that was the thing. And what happened was I was in the student unity faction, which basically was anyone who wasn't a fucking like left. It was green. So it was basically the ALP, the Australian Labor Party in student politics, you had Young Labor. But what would happen at the National Union of Students conference is that Labor would actually split in two. So the centre-left faction and the right faction in the ALP would go with student unity, and we would align with the Young Liberals, right, in the conference, right? And then the left wing of the ALP would align with Greens and the Trots and the fucking crazy people. Like, I still remember going to that conference, and they had the same fucking outfit that all the Antifa people have now. That's not a new outfit. I remember that was the first time I was introduced to fucking green Crocs. Actually, no, green clogs. They were clogs. Someone saw fit to turn up to a fucking political conference wearing green clogs. They didn't get the memo about appropriate attire, but that was, none of this is new. Yay! Jane's here. Okay. Good. Can you assess me while I'm talking and tell me if I'm crazy? I am fucking crazy. That's all right. Jane's drunk, but that's no fucking surprise. You fucking pisshead. All the doctors I know are fucking alcoholics, man. They fucking are. You gotta be. Anyway, I know you're not an alcoholic. Just saying. Just defaming you. Don't mind. I am crazy. So now Jane's commenting on my personal Facebook, because obviously that's my personal friends. That doesn't appear in the chat feed for obvious reasons. So only my public pages appear there. So, so you're safe. You're safe, Jane. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, fucking student politics. But we were forced to stay on campus. So all of the fucking, all of these people, none of these people are original. They're not new. I remember having these fucking and being utterly fucking perplexed at them, because they were all about trigger warnings and fucking all these woke shit. It was all just derailing every fucking committee meeting with stupid bullshit. It's like, ma'am, this is sir, this is a Wendy's. It was really like that, right? Right? As Dr. fucking pisshead to you is what Jane said. Yes, doctor. Thank you. See, the thing is, right, I was on my earlier stream this morning. This is something that Jane doesn't know because she hasn't seen it, which was that there's an anaesthetist on the early stream. He has the power to put people asleep, right? And I said, I have the power to make people cease to exist with my thoughts, which is fucking amazing. It's an amazing superpower. But Jane has the power to fucking lock me up. So fucking she wins. She can sign shit and have me fucking put away forever. It's I don't joke. I shouldn't be glib about that responsibility. I'm sure it's not easy. I'm just, we're being funny. Okay. Anyway, I don't believe that. Remember jokes, people. Okay. Now, so speaking of captured institutions, so you have the power to lock me up. Yeah. So I'm sure Paul's sitting here right now going, who is this person and how can I contact her? I think Paul should order dinner. That's what I think. Anyway, so, and get me a wine. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, student politics. We were forced to fucking coexist, right? So no matter what happened, I'm telling you a story about what happened because it was really funny. It was funny, right? This was what, year 2000? I was guild vice president, so year 99 or 2000, I think. I think it was 99. And so we had the conference, and these fucking LARPing fucks, right? they would all just, like, they always had the center of the stage. They would fucking rant about oppression and fucking all this stuff. And it's like, and they'd get their minute and they'd always use their full fucking, like, 2 minutes, right? And even if it was like a unanimous resolution, there'd still be the odd people that would just be just derailing and rambling about some niche fucking issue. But it was funny, right? None of this is new. And I think that that's the thing, that people just don't, maybe it's because maybe a lot of people just are new to political process and new to politics and new to political parties and discussions. These crazy people aren't fucking new. What's happened is they just fucking got together, right? They fucking, they met on Tumblr and fucking formed a cult, all right? But it's not new. None of this is new. But what has always perplexed me is that people listen to them and that somehow this took traction. I think got traction. And I think that that's because that is an American thing. It's a combination of things, which is that the children don't get fucking told no, right? Parents need to send their kid to college for an education, right? So they go get their stupid rich kid in a fucking cornflake packet degree in, like, you know, explorative anal philosophy or some shit like that, and then they write shit out of fucking masters, then they do postgrad and they shit out a master's paper on the fucking, you know, the power dynamics of fucking, you know, pubic hair, like shaving, and then they fucking graduate to PhD. They go, oh, marvelous master's thesis, why don't you build on that with a PhD? So then they do a PhD in a fucking topic, which is like, you know, the fucking philosophy of the fucking linguistics of feminist fucking whatever bullshit that they took. But I can't, it's so stupid I can't even think of one. If you can think of a fucking Pomo paper, it probably exists. That's the point, right? You can actually put it into a generator. But, like, you know, the class dynamics or exploring of class, it's been a long time since I spoke fucking all of this language, so I'm so into plain language that it's so nonsense that I can read it, but I'm not good at speaking it anymore. I used to be able to do it, but I can't. I can't string those sentences together anymore. But you can imagine. Then they get then daddy pays for $150,000, $200,000 for their fucking, you know, PhD. Then they think they're smart because they got a PhD, and it's like, well, sweetheart, I ran into someone like that the other day on Facebook. I had a run-in, and it was fascinating on the Basil thing. I think I posted it. I was like, this person works at a university, right? And it's not the individual. I don't blame the individual for the system. It's just the system. People know what they don't know, what they know, and they don't know what they don't know. It's no one's fault, right? And that's the thing about privilege, is that someone having privilege, it's sometimes that's why you need to be charitable about it, because it's actually more ones who take the time to explain and have a conversation. It's not something to be judged. It's something they just didn't know. Right. And I've met a lot of people. I'm sure Jane can probably back me up on this, because she's in Sydney. So she, and, you know, of a certain, like, prestige, right? But there's a certain thing in the North Shore of Sydney where people have never left the North Shore of Sydney in their entire lives. They don't know how ordinary the rest of the country live. They think Sydney is, first of all, that Sydney is the center of the fucking country and the universe, but also that their wealth and lifestyle, right? There's people that I know who went to school, like, in Milson's Point, what's that? Tony Abbott's school, whatever that's called. And I know people who went to school with him, and all you need to do is have a conversation with these people, and they don't have any idea how the world works, right? They have no idea. And that's why these teenage kids with these fucking white kids, like, they're good people, but they're just stupid. Like, the one thing I'll give to AOC, right? And I think she's just wrong-headed. I think she's a good person. I think she means well. I think she's just wrong-headed. And I think that she's a direct result of somebody who's in the working class in America, but has the wrong toolkit. And she could actually do great wonders if she was actually, you know, not pushing fucking certain dumb batshit ideas. But she, you know, again, you can't decouple that from America. But yeah, so drive them out to Mount Druitt. Exactly. So that's what Jane said, right? And that was my experience, because I was in the North Shore when I was living in Sydney, and I was hanging in IT circles with, CEOs and CIOs. And, I've lived a life. I was networking with sort of the high ups, that like people at Macquarie Bank and in the media and all these sort of people that are very influential people. And a lot of them just don't know. They don't know. They have no idea. They honestly think that that they worked hard. They believe they worked hard for everything that they had, and they haven't seen that, that they've had a golden fucking path paved for them the whole entire way. And I think that is a lot of that American system, the American university system, because it is so fucking expensive, and that's why it's happening here. This comes back to why university should be free. Right. And here we go. Let's do an argument for the right on why university should be free. Okay. Hear me out. University education should be free, right? Because when you add, and this is something that I think I might get some pushback on, but when you put money, like when you expose something like education to the market, you create an incentive for it to become profitable. Profit motives, right? This is just fucking capitalism. Get away, put your dick away, throw it into the fucking pile of dicks bag for a minute. Okay. I'm just being funny, talking shit. What am I talking about? Oh yeah. The reason why yeah. So Jane's working class, and see, it's actually interesting, right? So she said that uni was free when she did med school. Yes, thank you. Paul, look, so my husband got me a wine. It's going to fucking get bad, isn't it? So, okay, here's the conservative argument. So here's which is the fact you need to just not be in the cult of capitalism and see this is how capitalism operates. And this is a Marxist view on capitalism largely, which is that it inevitably inevitably ends like the way that it's ending, right? That's what Marx did, is that I was talking about this morning, right? Which is when Marx talks about capitalism, he did it by looking at history, okay, and saying, okay, right, capitalism inevitably ends a certain way. This is a fatal flaw in the market. And Keynes was, kind of similar, right? It's different but similar. I'm being extremely fucking simplistic. But there are certain laws in place. And what Marx did was try to define sort of a philosophical principle or law that explained history, okay? Now, obviously Marxism needs to adapt and be applied, now, because he's not around now. But I'm saying that what he did was he looked at the Industrial Revolution and basically said, this will end either this way in revolution, because the exploitation of capital will just get out of control. And this is what he said, right? It'll fucking happen, because it will feed itself and it will just become this big beast. If it's left on its own, it will become a fucking beast. And that's what's happened, right? Or it ends in fascism. And that's the thing. And that's the critical point. That's the turning point with America right now, is that they don't see that Marx was right about the analysis. Okay. Marx is not a model. Marx is a fucking diagnosis. He was trying to create some laws, right? Much like supply and demand, or, a law about history. And that was what he was trying to do, was trying to explain that stuff, right? So that was the thing. So let's have a drink. I think I should drink. I don't drink a lot. This is low alcohol wine, by the way. I still get fucking shit-faced on low alcohol wine because I've got no stomach. But anyway, but one thing that Jane would validate is that I think the people, who we need to listen to are people who have been both working class and can speak, like, and really sort of bridge that gap. That's what I try to do. I try to bridge the gap. That's why I don't give a fuck if the intellectual fucks like me or not, right? I know they don't share my stuff because they think I'm vulgar, but that's not fucking you. That's just a fucking bourgeois thing anyway, right? So I'm just saying, I try to bridge the gap. So what I try to do is introduce, this is what I've always liked to do, is to try to bridge the gap between people who might find me entertaining because I'm making dick jokes and fucking swearing. And then I might actually say some stuff that, I know some stuff and help you sort of, because they're two different worlds, right? And I've had to sort of, actually, there's a really good, I know it's unrelated and Jane's going to laugh her ass off, but Ben Folds' book, right? A dream about lightning bugs, right? Jump on my Facebook page so you can so people can see your chat, Jane. Because it's only on my profile. Anyway, but yes, having lived both is important, right? Because I think you've got a lot of stuff to say, right? No, men are never called vulgar, right? And I was talking about this before. I think being autistic, like as a girl, I think you become more. I was explaining gender roles like this morning as external pressures, right? And what's acceptable behavior from women versus men. And I think people think that gender roles, when we say gender is a social construct, they mischaracterize the fucking argument, because of course they do. No allies, only interests, right? If your interest is in fucking denying like something, then you'll like whatever, right? My point was that the gender as a construct is not that it's imaginary. Saying that it's a construct doesn't mean that it's imaginary or made up. It just means that it is a social construct that is a pressure that most people don't understand. It's the same thing with working class, but it's the same thing with upper class, right? I had a bunch of fucking rich friends, and I fucking hated their guts when I was younger, because I wanted to be a doctor, Jane, right? I wanted to be a doctor too, right? I wanted to go into like a serious profession, and I have been held back by my class. I know this. I've said, I say this a lot, the poor tax, right? I mentioned it this morning, right? Nah. I'll send you the link, Jane. Give me a minute. No, but you've got like the poor tax, which is that just being born poor, right, means that you can't, just from year dot, you're paying for being born. People don't understand, right? And that's why when people are talking about equity, that's what they're talking about. And that's why I will never go to the right, because all of the meritocracy bros are full of shit, because it's actually true. Because if merit was a thing, then I would be a lot more successful. I'd be rich, right? See, the thing is, I didn't come out of a vacuum either. I spent 10 years believing that if I just studied that bit harder, right, did that extra degree, wrote that extra thing, won that extra client, did that extra project really, really well, like tried really hard, right, or did that one thing, or wrote that one thing, or got that, went to uni, or did that job, or fucking whatever. If I just did that one extra thing, that I would suddenly get accepted and make it, right? And I never have. And there's a reason for that. And that's because it's a fucking lie. So now I don't care, because I know it's rigged. And that's the American lie, and that's the American dream. We're back to roasting America. The Americans like to believe, if they tell America that it is all rigged, right, and they can't even give fucking healthcare. I'm at least the beneficiary of a public education that was semi-decent, and healthcare. Like, I've nearly died 3 times, right? I'm sending you the fucking link. I can't multitask. Paul, can you send Jane the link? Can you comment on this fucking thing and send Jane the link? Can you go to my stream and copy the link from my Facebook page video to my profile video? I can't multitask. Anyway, I will. Hang on. Give me a minute. Verboten. Oh, it's not. It's changed. I changed the name. It's just Taya. I changed it from fucking... Anyway, so... Where the fuck are we? Hang on. Let me change and send you the link, because Jane wants to be fucking heard. Hang on. Because I feel like I'm having an imaginary conversation. Let's take 2 minutes. Sorry, folks. Just give me a sec. Where are we? I'm live. Where the fuck am I? Someone fucking... I can't find it. I'm live now. Okay, here we go. Link. I'll tag Jane Lawson now. Okay, hang on. All right, Jane. There, now Jane can appear in the fucking chat, like the pisshead psychiatrist, awesome person that she is. So, yes. So she knows what I'm saying, right? Which is that, you know, look, when you grow up disadvantaged, right? And this idea, and I'm sure that there's this thing, right, Jane, where I'm sure, without a doubt, you had to work fucking 5 times harder than like most of the rich kids in your, anyone who is working class that gets to med school, right? Like I actually, Jane doesn't know this about me. I should tell you. There was a point when I turned 30, I decided that, all right, I'm going to go to med school. I've always wanted it. I'm going to do it. All I want to do is help people. All I've ever wanted to do is help people feel better, feel comfort. That's why we're doing this thing now. That's why when the world's burning, we're sitting here just fucking drinking and talking shit, right? But all I've ever wanted to do is help people, right? Feel better about the world, themselves, you know, comfort. I like that, right? And I was like, I've always just wanted, and I had just come off the back of my grandmother dying of a brain tumor, and I'd spent a lot of time in hospice care. And I thought, geez, I'd really love to just be a palliative care doctor or pain management doctor or, you know, something like that, right? That was something that I'd love to do. So I went, okay, well, not actually, probably not palliative care. Yeah, actually, I think I was thinking about palliative care or emergency or trauma, right? Those were, I really am good in a crisis. Believe it or not, I'm a fucking good in a crisis, believe it or not. But there's a lot of swearing, but I'm generally good in a crisis. Anyway, the light's changing, so if I end up fucking around, that's why. So anyway, but I decided I was going to go to med school. And I realized, like, you know, in order to get to med school in my 30s, I had to go do a year of uni, right? I had to go do a year of uni. And then I had to sit GAMSAT. GAMSAT prep requires you to do a 6-hour exam. Many people actually get catheters inserted because you can't, you know, like it's a 6-hour exam to get in. That's just to get in, right? As a graduate, right? So you can't go in as an undergraduate. You get in as a graduate. So if you've got a degree, you can sort of sit, but you've got to sit a 6-hour exam to get in. I sat the exam and, you know, all of that sort of stuff, and it was fun. And I was in the middle of games. I was just preparing, and I realized, like, you know, med school requires a full-time commitment. It requires hundreds of dollars in textbooks. It requires all of these things, right? There's all of these hindrances, right? And like, they're all barriers that are easily solved with, you know, not being working class, not having to work as well on top of everything else. Same with university, right? When I was choosing my university degree, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to do medicine or law, but again, you just pulled down. Because I was working from the age of 14 and I was working long hours because I had no real parent. I was out of home at 15. I was working 2-3 jobs in high school, right? Around year 12. I failed year 12 because I was so exhausted and just sick, right? In year 12. That I couldn't fucking function. I had to repeat year 12, and then I again was working, but the load's a bit lower when you go to like the place. But I got into uni. Then I was faced with choices. Do I go to law school? Do I go to med school? Do I do this? No, I have to choose the degree, right, that I can work with because I've got to fucking survive. Right? I took the fucking supplement loan out. I'm sure Jane, like this university supplement loan, where how's this for a fucking grift, right? Again, rich kids have no problem because they can just call their parents and say, hey, I need this, whatever, right? Me, there's just a huge opportunity cost with every decision that you make when you're poor. It's not, and it's all the intangible, it's all opportunity cost. When you're in a state of survival, it is opportunity cost, not about having the opportunity. It's about how you spend your time, where you spend your time, and where your priorities lie. Right. And that's the thing that this is why I can't be on the right. It just doesn't work. I don't believe that merit. I think merit is a fucking weapon of the man. It's bullshit. And I think I've written it but I don't know if I've published it, but I wrote it a couple of years ago. It's called The Credibility Carrot. It's a fucking carrot. One day if I just stopped swearing, or if I did more, like I said, if I studied more or studied harder or fucking tried harder, or I was nicer or did my hair or did this or put on the right shade of lipstick or put this fucking clothes on or had this view or these views or whatever, it's all a lie. Because there's people who are in and people who are out. And if you're in, right, you're in. And that's how this cancel culture stuff works so effectively, because basically they've managed to somehow really weaponize that and make it so that if you fucking even dare look sideways at anyone, like suggest that they eat a bag of dicks that they found out the back of the BBC, that, you know, discarded dick bags, I'm in trouble. No, but if you even look sideways, you're out. And that's the problem, right? It's all bullshit. And I think that that's the thing. That's why Carlin was my hero. And that's why I think there's some freedom in knowing that it's all fucking rigged. And, you know, one thing, because my dad opted out of society very young, like in his 30s. And he drank himself to death, but also he just decided that he didn't fucking want any part of this stuff, right? He'd work as a psychiatric nurse, just do like agency work as he needed to, but otherwise it would just be like, you know, he didn't give a fuck, right? Not the best situation. However, I also understand it now. I'm not saying I don't understand the destruction part, but I also understand why he figured out that it was bullshit very early on as well, right? And that's the thing. So anyway, but we're free. See, we haven't. Have you thought about the election for 5 minutes? You haven't, have you? We're having a different conversation. See, I'm a healer. I'm here to heal. While suggesting that you go hunting for a bag of discarded dicks. That's what you get with me. Let's refresh the fucking results, hey? Let's have a look. So, let's have a look. It hasn't moved. Okay. So it looks like it's probably not going to move for a while, hey? Looks like we've hit the point where things are fucking getting antsy. Anyway, but yeah, anyway. So okay, I was talking about class. That's the thing, right? I was talking about class. Actually, Jane mentioned that, like, champers, right? I've got a lot of champagne. I think we were given some, but I can't drink. It makes me feel sick. So, yeah, because I has no stomachs. So I got to be careful. But yeah, anyway, so yes, Sam's here saying still going, impressive. Yeah, I did have a break, but I figured people just needed to hear me riffing. I'm just taking a leaf out of Bill Burr's book right now. Let's just talk about the world. I think I saw people, and if anything, just watching me talk shit, it might just give you some calm and just make you remember that, like, we can still just talk shit, right? And so far we're allowed to just talk shit. Oh my God, speaking of which, guess what? After my stream, I got fucking sent a copyright claim on my theme music. So I'm going to have to fucking record and write something original now, which is stupid. But anyway, it's stock fucking music. Anyway, it's meant to be royalty free, so I don't know what's going on there, but I'll have to find out. It's probably just the algorithm being fuckwits, as usual. Feed the algorithm. Anyway, yeah, so I did have a 4-hour break. Did some work. I still don't actually know what the fuck's happening with the election, but that's just more me. I go, oh, well, I think it's playing out exactly the way that I said it was going to play out. I think that, honestly, I can't see how it could go any other way. And I don't think that the Democrats are going to fucking learn. I think they're going to double down. Right. I talked about this earlier today, but anyway. Entertain me. What have you got? Questions? Did you find the fucking link, Jane, or what? Yep, she's there on the public page now. Okay, there we go. So here's some jokes about Americans, right? A normal American guy bought the fastest and newest car ever created. He entered the car and turned on the radio. He heard, "This is London." The man said, "Damn, this thing is fast." So bad. I just Googled like American jokes. They're so bad. Trigonometry with the yeah, it's also no. I think mine is like it's automated. I think it's automated. It said that it was just because what you got it that people don't know that there's a whole sophisticated. See again, fucking corporate America fucked it up for all of us. If people understood how brands and copyright law and the DMCA and fucking all of these laws that have favored fucking corporations are the problem. It's not so much a political movement. This is a corporate movement. It's the advertisers. It's the money, right? So the DMCA. So in order to solve the problem with so for those that don't know, the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, right? That's the thing that allows people to do takedowns, all that sort of stuff, right? You may have seen it when you do a Google search for dodgy shit and it says some of this stuff is filtered by the DMCA, right? Right. That's the thing. But, right, people don't understand. A lot of this stuff is just fucking perfect storm, unintended consequences. And it's also just, I think we need to get back to principles and laws. Like when we talk about Marx. When I say I'm a Marxist, I say I agree with Marx that he believes that capitalism does X, Y, Z. It behaves X, Y, Z way. This is what happens. It is inevitable. There's some comfort in it. Makes you look like you've predicted the future, but it's not. It's just you've got theory in how things work. So when you learn how things work, you understand how they break. I'm sure Jane could actually comment on that more than anyone, because I imagine psychiatry, particularly works on what is sort of functioning and normal and healthy. And then you've got the deviations from that. And then you've got the levels of dysfunction. And then, whether it's impairing your day-to-day functioning. Yes, there's a critique to be had of what that means. But at the same time, there are some things, there are just rules, there are laws, there are structures in place that things tend to behave in a certain way. And that's why with this Twitter stuff, I'm a bit calmer about it, because it's like, well, no, this is actually just a collision of a number of different things, which is human behavior, tribalism, right? Capitalism going off the rails, America having no fucking idea what actual left wing means, like politically speaking, theoretically, right? Philosophically speaking. Also, like people just, the Earth is office access for people, but it's not. That's why I love going back to the classics. I love going back. This is why I'm so passionate about, I don't care about wrong or right. I don't care about like ideology. What I care about, is it true or not? Or is it as close to true as it can possibly be right now? Like, I think that's just the way that I'm wired, which is like, well, is it true? Right? What is truth? What interests are at play in terms of defining? If it's not true, then what interests are at play in making that not true? Like all of these things, right? That's where we've got to start with what's true, right? No, I don't know. The copyright strike thing again. So, that's what I was saying. So the DMCA was designed to protect musicians. Great, right? This all comes back to the RIAA debates are fucking old, right? It's all this stuff that we warn them about. Right, which is that when the DMCA was passed, YouTube had to put because they can't actually sit there, right, and manually moderate all of these copyright claims. So they had to put systems in place because it's at scale. You can't do it. They have to have an algorithm. It's just the way it is, right? And so they put tech in place. I think it's called, what is it, Content ID or something like that, that scrapes for songs, that are like with the labels and publishers. Now, it's actually publishers. I've come up against publishers in my career. So technically speaking, let's use a real world scenario, right? Where I want to use a Lisa Loeb riff, right? A track. I know her manager. I could sit and I could actually get permission to use it, right? I'm sure it would be fine. They would say it's fine, right? But that's not permission, right? Permission is from the publisher, but also these algorithms don't know you've got permission to use it. They don't know the facts. What they're doing is detecting this. They compare. It's like basically like a comparison of wavelengths. Is this? Yes? No. You actually find actual musicians, right? You actually find actual musicians right, who own the music, getting copyright strikes for their own shit because that's just how it works, right? So it's not tinfoil hat, it's just how it works. And that's why you've got to be a bit careful. So I think that people are too quick to jump to conspiracy. It's the same thing with all the fucking woke stuff. I don't believe it's a conspiracy. It's just how it works. And I think maybe because I've got a good backing in international relations that I understand there's a tried and true phrase, right? Which is that there are no allies, there are only interests, right? And if you use that as a law, like, again, is this mostly true? Yes. The first thing that you should go to is, who are the interests? What are the interests at play here? Who benefits? That's media literacy 101. Right? You know, I actually, so somebody's just said that they've got one listener and two now. It's like, actually, no, I've got quite a few more than that. So I'm multi-streaming. Periscope is a nuisance, if anything. But anyway, so I think this is where I think people's minds need to shift, because this is where conspiracy theorists go wrong. Most of the time, even if they've touched on the truth, but it's because they are just they're joining dots, but they're not really they're only focused on the interests, but they're not focused on what's true and what's filtered and also what's rational, like in terms of theory. And this is why I think it's really good. I'm a big fan of like foundational psych principles, foundational political. Read your Marx, read your fucking philosophy, get grounded in the basics of everything, and it will put cement shoes on your feet, right? When the world is moving underneath you, it will at least help you to understand the world. Read the basics, read Chomsky, read Marx, read Adam Smith, read Keynes, read Burke, read, I'm just trying to think of others. I can't fucking think off the top of my head. Read Plato, read Aristotle, read, they're hard going. That's fine. Read fucking Butler if you have, but you got to engage with ideas that are different, but get foundations in place. Once you have a solid foundation, it's very easy to see through a lot of this stuff, right? Because a lot of these things rely on people being ignorant and not having done the work and reading these things. The whole of wokeism relies on knee-jerk kindness, right? And that's why I don't, I don't attack the individuals. I think they're fucking funny and they're ridiculous and I'll mock the shit out of them. However, right, it's also important to know that a lot of the people who get caught up in this stuff, they're trying to be good people. Not the leaders. The leaders are fucking opportunist, narcissist fucks. But your everyday person who sort of shares a anti-racist meme or a D'Angelo like white fragility thing, again, like AOC, they're just wrong-headed. They're good people. They're smart people, but they're wrong fucking headed. They've got the wrong tools. They've been handed the wrong tools. And America in particular, they don't even know. They're trying to hammer a nail, right, with a fucking drill. They don't know that there's a hammer that can solve their problem. That's how bad it is. And that's the thing, right? That's what you got to understand. And I'm not saying that to be condescending to America. I'm saying, again, when you look at the interests at play, which is that it's basically McCarthyism. It's just new McCarthyism. It's the same fucking thing. But you got to know your history, right? And that's the thing. Most people just don't know it. Know what happens in key events in history and the events leading up to it. Right. And that ideology, like I said before, I think people largely agree with each other, other than on economics. Okay. I think we agree with the what we want. I think people mostly agree on what. They disagree on how, and they get distracted with stupid bullshit. It's just that simple. Like I said before about how, public policy international policy experts agree. I agree. I agree with, I shouldn't say this because this will kill my fucking stream. In principle, I agree with Pauline Hanson and her nationalism, in the sense I'm saying she's off the rails. I say she's racist. It comes from the wrong place, but the ideas are correct. I am also saying that since the 80s, American culture has become largely dominant, and it is a destructive force on our culture, that we do need some national pride. That's not a right-wing view. That's anti-war, anti-hegemony fucking view. It's a Chomsky view. right? That's what I'm saying. It just depends on how, again, that's why we need to be more compassionate with people, I think, because people might, like I said, people might have the best idea in the world, but not have the right words for it. And they're not saying it in the right words. And you're going to have a whole bunch of evil shit wrapped up in fucking nonsense, big words, jargon, which is what we're seeing right now. And the ordinary person defaults to kindness. They default. And also, don't forget, this is something that I know, working with ordinary people right up to CEOs, every single person, right? I don't give a fuck if you don't like me, that's fine. But not everyone's like me, right? I'm okay saying I don't know, or I'm ignorant, or looking like a dickhead, right? I like that chip. It's part of what makes me me. But for most people, don't want to be dumb. They don't want to feel dumb. They don't want to feel less than. They don't want to feel like they're a bad person. They want to feel like they're good, right? And that's the thing, is that the reason why this thing has so much steam is because most people just default, because they sit there and they say, oh, well, the studies and all of the jargon, and like, oh, because of did you know that clownfish change genders, and fucking, it's all a big fucking, it's a whirlwind of distraction, so that people just go, okay. I don't want to be dumb or bad. I don't want to be a dumb or bad person. So I'll go with what that person, they clearly look like they know more than me. See, that's the thing, is that you can only fight them with someone who knows more than they do and presents facts, right? And that's the thing, right? So most people just default, because most people they don't have fucking time for this shit. I don't have time for this shit, and I do it full time. But, anyway. How are you doing? Hi, Catherine. Catherine's here. Awesome. Natasha's here. Cool. Hello, everybody. Yeah, so the copyright strike thing is sort of it's a complicated thing, right? The fucking exposure's too high. Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, let's turn it down a bit. Anyway, I'm looking all mysterious and sexy. Light's too close. Need to move it further away. Anyway. So, how are you all doing? Have you thought about the election? I haven't. Oh, yeah, there's that thing. So, are they in bed at the moment? I think, have they stopped counting? Right? They've stopped counting for the night, I think, have they? Right? People aren't driven by facts. They're driven by emotion. That's established, right? They're not driven by facts. They're driven by emotions. And this is an inherently emotionally manipulative movement, right? They're persuaded. No, they're not persuaded by facts necessarily. Okay. What they are persuaded with is someone who looks calm and like they know what they're talking about. Okay. That's the thing. When you're up against a screeching monster who's using fucking gobbledygook cult language, it's very easy to look and go, okay, look at that crazy. It's easy to persuade people, I believe. And we probably, again, you can disagree. That's fucking freedom. And that's my thoughts, right? I'm not going to sit there and go, no, you are wrong. I'm saying, interesting thought. But Mark Manson's book's actually very interesting. The Everything's Fucked, and Story About Hope is actually a very good summary of a lot of the psych stuff around this. But we are driven by emotion. But we're also driven by people who are solid and calm and rational. So when I say facts, people aren't swayed by facts. They're swayed by things that make them feel comfortable. Okay? And people who feel knowledgeable. That's why America has lost its fucking head. Because they have no fucking leadership. It's why they build cults. Right? Because they've been fucked over and lied to and gaslit and brainwashed by their leaders for fucking 80 years. Right? And that's the thing. But so all you would need to do, right? Again, it's just a matter of patience. But you just got to sit there and be a sane, calm voice that speaks truth, that speaks facts, and also speaks them in a way that's comforting, right? That's the thing. And when I say facts, I don't mean like fucking Ben Shapiro, here, hate facts, I can own the fucking facts. Sometimes the facts are inconvenient and impolite and hurtful, right? This is where the trans debate does get a bit, over the top. I think a lot of people are only pushing back so hard against this stuff because of the overreach and the bullying. But I think most people would go along with it. It's like, well, socially, as long as you're socially transitioned and that has parameters attached to it and boundaries, that's cool, right? Because most people are decent. I think even most gender critical people would say that's cool. If that gives you comfort, I'll do that, right? But yeah, so that that's the thing, right? It's hostage. It's the late night DJ voice, precisely. There you go. So that's the thing. I think that it's not so much about like. I think that that's the thing that's in American culture, right? And we joke about it being mating season, and we joke about it, and all of the fact that they're always saying the new N word, nuance. Fucking actually, if you want to read a book, let me shout out to my mate Helen Razor, fucking legend, right? Buy her book and buy it on Audible just so you can hear Helen Razor read her own fucking book, because the way she says nuance is just, it's burned in my fucking head. She's amazing, and she is such an underrated, she should be like, she's just an incredible person, right? Fucking awesome. She's another truth teller. Support her. If you want to support someone, support her. She's fucking great. So she just fucking don't give a fuck, and I love it. She gives a fuck. Okay, actually, no, that's not fair. I'm not going to say I don't give a fuck and that she doesn't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck about rich people's shit. We have our priorities straight, and we care about the right things. And I think that's. I don't want to. I think I need to stop saying that I don't give a fuck, because I really do. I fucking care. I cried about that child bride who bled to death the other day. That fucking story. It's haunting me. How feminism has, in the West, has turned into fucking, like, what the fuck it is. And somehow this is sitting in front of us. And I know that most of the rad femmes have their brains straight, but a lot of women don't. And it's like, how can you see that and not see that the victory is not, there's no victory at all, right? For women, if anything, we're fucking harking back 100 years. It's crazy how people can't see it. And again, maybe it is the Stockholm syndrome thing, right? And also, again, no allies, only interests, right? I don't think most people believe in this woke shit. I think there's just interest. It's easy to keep your job. People want to do what's easiest. Friction, right? As a user experience person, I know a lot about friction. Also, as a porn star. No. Use lube, everybody. I'm making shit up. Friction, a concept in user experience, which is that a lot of the thing in tech, right? People want frictionless experiences. The second that things are a little bit difficult, people, like in a shopping cart situation or a website, they will abandon the checkout, right? Even if it's just something fucking small, because people will. So you want to sort of move towards frictionless experiences. I would argue that as an ethical UX designer, you have an ethical responsibility and a duty of care to the user, and you need to make sure that there's friction in the right places. And that's what I think Twitter and Facebook are trying to do at the moment, which is like, hey, like, that's why when they go, oh, it's Orwellian that they're fucking doing this thing. It's like, well, no, they're trying to make people stop, and it's pattern interrupt, right? So when you're about to post some fucking stupid shit that's about to get you banned, right? And I'm not saying again, like I said this morning, I have conflicting views on this thing. This goes against another video that I made where I talked about this stuff. These are hard problems. However, I understand the thought process behind it, which is that they're trying to insert friction where there was none before, to get people to stop and think about what they're doing or the consequences of their actions, right? Which is, are you sure you want to post that? Are you sure you want that? This looks like it's going to go to fucking moderation. This looks like it might be a problem for you. Yes, it is a little bit freaky, but at the same time, because I'm a designer, I understand the thought process. It's actually surprised me that they've embraced some of this stuff, because I've been shouting about ethical design principles for ages and the responsibility that designers have, right, to put friction in certain places so that it's not easy, right? Everyone knows the story about toddlers buying fucking couches with their parents because they're playing a game on their parents' phone. Some friction's good, okay? That's the thing. So, but that's something that we know about human behavior. Again, principles. Humans don't like friction. They don't like conflict. They definitely don't like dissonance. right? I am a lot more comfortable in dissonance than most people. I can hold to opposing thoughts quite easily because I understand. I go, well, if I have two opposing ideas at the same time, that means there's complexity, and that means there's an it depends, and that means that it needs to go to a court. That means that, there's probably there's no one rule for this. What it means is that there's different worldviews at play and there's a conflict. And I identify the conflict and I'm okay with it. But most people aren't okay with feeling stupid or dumb or disconnected or dissonant or anything like that. And so try to have a little bit of understanding for those that, yes. And also because people don't, and also remember, again, I'm not going to be old and say, oh, this generation, but don't forget, this generation have been told that they can create the world that they want, that they can visualize it, they can use Minecraft, they can build it with blocks, they live in a world of sort of Harry Potter and CGI and, all these things. Like, I don't know if, again, having researched fandoms and the psychology of a lot of that stuff and the dynamics of all that stuff, you start to understand kind of where people come from, right? Which is they're very intense. The fandoms are extraordinarily intense, right? And there's a lot of people who really don't again, this is a coping mechanism for trauma, right? Which is to dissociate. Okay. That's the thing, right? So that's the thing. So again, when you understand some basic concepts about psychology, politics, all these things, it's good to just read lots of stuff, lots of foundational stuff, because eventually you start to understand the world a bit better for a start. But it's also less scary. It's less confusing. It becomes Occam's razor for a lot of this stuff, right? Which is that, some rich cunts are drunk on power. Tech bros do what's fucking easy for the advertisers. America's going to Americate. Right? And corporates are going to corporate. This is, and people just are living in a state of dissonance and they're constantly scrambling, right? Yeah, exactly. So Diane said, I'd rather have a little pop-up saying this might break the rules than have my account banned. Absolutely. And this was part of my frustration with Jack, is that he should know this. He should know this solution, but he's so up his own ass. He won't even acknowledge the problem. The solution's right in front of him, right? He needs to admit that by design, being in Silicon Valley, I don't think he's an evil guy. I think he's just fucking one of those people who has grown up fucking not having any idea how people work. Don't forget, he's a fucking coder. They're retarded. They're fucking retarded. They shouldn't be CEOs. Mark Zuckerberg actually, I think his Asperger's is kind of a gift for him, in the sense that he can see things that other people I think he can see dynamics. He sees the things that I see. I think he sees it the way I see it. But Jack has gone fucking, what the fuck? I think he's actually a hostage to the fucking VCs. That's what I think. And I think he's actually the only one holding it together. I've said this before. I don't think he wants to be part of it. He just has to be. I think he just has to be. Right. Because it's the only thing that'll stop it going full fucking, crazy. Anyway. But, so fandoms, and that's the thing, right? And again, this is the area that, I find I'm passionate about, which is the fandoms building cults. And that sort of natural, the true fans principle sort of, it's an unintended concept. We didn't think it through. Like, as marketers, I used to run fan communities, and there's always culty aspects to fandoms, right? And the intensity of emotion when I'm a fucking Folds fan. I'm obsessed. And every time he says my name, I fucking gush out my ass. No, actually, no, I don't gush out my ass. But I get excited. It's exciting. It's interesting. And when he acknowledges me and he talks to me and replies to me and shit. And the internet has broken that fourth wall. Twitter particularly has broken that fourth wall, right? Where they think that, just because someone likes a tweet, that, you're friends now, right? There's a lot of people who just aren't very emotionally healthy. There's a lot of trauma. And who wouldn't be fucking traumatized living in the USA? Again, it's something that you understand. It's like, why would they not have some sort of religion around hope? Because the truth is fucked, right? The truth about America and the fact that it's all rigged, it's all a big lie, right? And most of its politicians would not think twice about sacrificing large portions of the population in order to make more money. And we're seeing it with the virus, right? We're seeing it. They don't care. We won't even pass a bill to fucking pass, like basic fucking relief. That is a bipartisan decision, right? I know Trump wants to, and that's, again, I'm just saying, but right now it stands as a bipartisan decision to not give anyone healthcare and not help them out. They're sitting there hungry, and they're begging the fucking people for money so they can get elected to not give them anything else. Using fear tactics. Like, what the fuck? Who wouldn't, like, disappear into a fucking cult? Like a fantasy world where they think that they have power and they can change things and they can cancel people who fucking say things. That's a mystery world. That's the fucking, they get to retreat into the Lord of the Flies because it gives people some power. Right? And that's why I don't think that wokeism will be as powerful in Nordic countries, right? Because they're largely social democrat, but they're also come from that European Marxist tradition of materialism, right? I mean, that said, Amsterdam and its fucking prostitution thing is a bit of a, anyway, but, the Nordic model, they're sort of working through a lot of these things, right? But I'm just saying, is what I'm saying making any fucking sense? So Catherine said, Bill Gates is Asperger. No, Linda Graham and McCann used to tiki tour him. Okay. Yeah, he is Asperger. Yeah. But, a lot of the best people are. Because we fucking don't care. Don't give a shit. You need to be. I have a theory, which is that we evolved. That evolution is real. That's not my theory. Just so we're clear, I'm not presenting evolutionary theory as my theory. Just so you know. Just so we're clear. I do believe the autism, right? Probably not severe. Like, I'm talking about Asperger's. I feel that Asperger's may be an adaptive gene from the Industrial Revolution. And I think, again, maybe there's a market, maybe there's something there. Again, I like just having fucking thoughts and ideas. Don't go building a fucking cult around this idea, please. And also don't quote me on it. It's just a fucking thought. We're having drinks and we're being friends on a fucking election. Okay? Right? Yeah, sorry, I just didn't understand the sentence. Sometimes I'm off in fucking crazy land and it takes me a while to like recalibrate. Like with the Mars thing earlier with the tripods, I just needed, my brain operates in schemas, right? And context. So sometimes you just need to fucking kick me in the side of the head and I go, oh yeah, I know what that means. So I'm off on if I'm off on a fucking tangent elsewhere, I completely forget what's going on over there. Okay, that's just, I can't multitask with thoughts. Well, I can multitask with thoughts, sort of, but it doesn't go well. It ends up in fucking stuttering. Anyway, my theory, right? Adaptive. I can't see why wokeism is not an adaptive ideology, nor is autistic. It's if you look at it through life under capitalism, right? And liberal feminism and wokeism particularly, right? Life under patriarchy, right? I think it's really hard to be a girl. I mean, well, we know it's really hard to be a girl. It's still hard to grow up. It's still hard being a girl. But like, who wouldn't fucking identify as non-binary or asexual, right? And I do laugh at the ridiculousness of things like demisexual, right? But I also understand that they need some way of signaling that they're not a sexual object or that they're not a target. I understand that. And that's the thing, is that when you look at pain, right? And when you see shared humanity and you see shared pain and you see through the lens of trauma and you try to not judge other people. Like, again, there's an absurd, ridiculous ideology and it's all funny and the culture wars are funny and ridiculous and all that stuff. Trump's a dickhead, all that stuff. That's a given, right? But when you actually, on a one-to-one level with humans, connect with people and engage with their ideas and their pain, and that's something I've always been good at, I think, is within, assuming I'm allowed to, assuming they give me a minute. One thing I'm good at is getting people to fucking confess fucking all of their shit to me. I think it's a natural thing that I've got where people just confide in me because they also, I think they just know that I wouldn't share things and I'm empathetic. I think that's why being cast as a bad person with this whole, all of this stuff. I think that's why it hurts. I think it only hurts you if you're not a bad person. I think if you are a bad person, you know, you run with it and think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. I fucking hate it. I laugh as a coping mechanism, not because I think it's funny, right? Because it's ridiculous. Because I sit there and I go, hey, if I can be considered evil because all I've ever done is work hard and tell the truth and be honest, right? As honest as possible my whole life and fight for the fucking right to be heard for everybody and the right for inclusion. If I can be a sinner, then it's really bad, right? And I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm not saying I don't fucking give off a fucking, I can't be a bit of a cunt sometimes. But, you know, for the most part, my heart's in the right place. If you learn to understand, if you just figure out how to understand me, I'm like fucking marshmallow, right? I'm not a strong, I'm a resilient person. I'm not a strong person, right? Right. So, cast, yeah. So, you know, yeah, I can't talk about that, Cat. Right. I can't talk about private stuff, but people know my story about that stuff. But you know, I'm being cast as a villain and I can't help it because once you're cast as a villain, everyone, well, look at the fucking Trump thing. Nothing. All that they just run with a fucking idea and they can't fucking get out of it. Everything he does. They just frame as like, you know, it's, yeah. I don't write poetry, I write jokes. And I do this. And I have thoughts and I write other things. I'm not fucking, poetry's for cunts. Poetry's for people with too much fucking time on their hands. You know. But, you know, it's, anyway, let's check in on the fucking election. Is it like stopped now? Not stopped, but have they stopped counting? Looks like they've stopped counting for the day. 1 hour ago. So the last thing, wow. Anyway, so hang on, let me just have a quick look at this. I want to see this. So they're going at it. They're starting to sow that fucking culture war shit. Let them go. Fucking dogs, fucking whatever. Oh boy. Anyway. How you all doing? How you all doing? I don't want a cult. Georgia said, it's not a cult. Just want to send you our hair clippings and have you bless them. Okay. But I'm bad at admin. So what will happen is that you'll send it to me. And it'll be like the Christmas cards that I wrote last year that I will plan to send again for this year, but won't send. And they end up being 6-year-old Christmas cards by the time you get them. I'm not good at that shit. Fucking ADD as fuck. Yeah. Yeah. So, working on pride in sports shit. Okay. So we're talking about this, like we're streaming stuff now. It's not a Zoom call. I'm just trying to engage with like chatter. Cults are 98. Yeah, exactly. See, I'm fucking lazy, man. That's the thing. I'm too lazy to be like a cult leader. I like the idea of being a cult. Like my narcissistic side likes being a cult member. Likes the idea of being a cult leader. But I also don't want to be famous. Don't want to be left alone. And it sounds like a lot of fucking work. Like the reason why I haven't pursued like, you know, counseling or clinical psychology, right, is that I sit there and I go, I'd have to let other people talk. I don't know if you saw my stream this morning. I started to watch it back and it's just like, holy fuck. I talk over people a lot. This happens a lot. This is why I don't like doing interviews because I end up interrupting everyone. It's like, oh, you know. But It's funny. It's like, oh, I'm too fucking. I'm a criminal mastermind that with crippling ADHD. So it's a good thing. It's like if I was actually born without a conscience, I'd be a fucking. I'd somehow figure out how to be the like, yeah. Oh jeez. Anyway, the lights fucking got weird. Paul, can you turn the light on, please, so that the light's balanced? My colleagues voted me most likely. What was it? Oh shit! I accidentally left this on. Sorry. Colleagues voted me most likely to run a cult at the last Christmas party. Well, yeah, do you know what it means? Well, everything is culty. Sorry. Okay, can I rant about the word cult for a while? Which is that now it's lost its fucking meaning. Everyone's calling everyone a cult. And now when I've actually identified a legit fucking cult, everyone thinks I'm just being a fucking dick. It's like, no, this is a real fucking thing. It's a cult. It's an actual cult. It meets all of the fucking criteria. I said it first, no matter what other people will tell you. I fucking said it first. I applied thought reform to it before anybody else. And then they said that I was fucking crazy for saying it. And now they're going, it's a cult, it's a cult, it's a cult. Yes! Give me some fucking credit. Where's my fucking super chats? Kidding. I don't care. I don't expect it. I'm just saying. Someone dropped off then. I love it. You know what I love to do is to see how many people I can lose. See, that's the thing. When you actually aren't invested in, see, because I've spent so long in social media, in career. I know all the metrics. They're vanity metrics, and I know they're bullshit. And also going by the true fans principle, right? Is that it's a process of fucking exclusion. It's like I have finite amount. I want fewer clients paying more money. I want fewer people that I can dedicate proper resources and attention to, and I want fucking less fucking shit at a higher rate. Right? People have it backwards, like this business thing. Why you would like want the approval of fucking people who only don't pay you? I don't understand. Anyway. That's why I'd be a good cult leader, because I could get people to sign over their house. Maybe I need to have a cult just for a little while, just so I can enter the property market, get the deeds to the houses, and then fucking like see the light and like maybe I just need a little bit of a cult. Actually, that's how we got here, was like, true fans principle works on the cult idea. And fandoms are marketing, which is that again, I did this presentation fucking 10 years ago. This is nothing new. How to build a cult online. Ha ha. That backfired, didn't it? Anyway. Oh, jeez. Anyway. There we go. The light's better now. It's a bit more balanced. Okay. Anyway. So who's watching what? What are we doing? So it looks like that the results are frozen for now. I think they seem to be just fucking stalled. Looks like it's usually the Americans are usually asleep at this time, and then they fucking, because I know this because this is the nice time of day online. This is the day of 9 where we can actually joke and go, oh look, the Americans aren't watching. Imagine if they went to Mars. Imagine if they fucking went to Mars, man, and we all just were left alone and coexisted. That'd be cool. We should campaign for America to go to Mars. We'll totally be on the next rocket. We'll meet you there. Anyway. Any comments? We're running out of steam. We're going to do it like Sam, who, if you watched my stream this morning, Sam is going to do a debrief with me tomorrow morning as well. We're going to sort of talk about this when we have a few more results in overnight. Like, it's 7 o'clock here. So by the time I go to bed, they'll be back fucking again, right? And all of the shit will hit the fan because it's getting close now. But I have a feeling that it's going to fucking blow up tomorrow, right? What the fuck? Hang on. Analysis. Trump call. Okay, it's what I'm reading accurate here. I'm just looking at the ABC. Look, hang on. I'll just show you what I'm seeing. right? Screen share, right? Look, Trump's call to halt vote counts is his most brazen swipe at democracy. So this is CNN. Did he do that? Demand for vote counting to stop. What the fuck? You know that thing where I said I hope that he actually just fucking has some class for once and like actually just proves people wrong rather than proving them right? I take it back. Jesus fucking Christ. What did he do? Can someone tell me what he did? And if this is correct. Millions of legally cast votes are being counted in election offices around the country as presidential race between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden comes down to a handful of battleground states. What did he say? Hang on. This is supposed to prove that he said it. See, this is what they fucking do. Look, demand for vote counting to stop, and then they link to a thing, and then they like pretend this fucking that's not a thing. Where are we? Oh, chilling. Okay, Trump's chilling threat to vote counting. Trump attempted to claim victory in the presidential race and called for a halt to legitimate vote counting that is underway around the country. Did he do that? Does anyone know if he did that? Because if he did that, fuck you. So what's he done? Oh, fucking just tell me what he said. Oh, okay, so that's the tweet where he said that they were trying to steal the election. Okay, he said it live in his... Okay, so hang on. So Diane's telling us the facts. See, this is why I like this thing where you can just talk, just sit and hang and talk. He said it live in his address. We've won. They're cheating. I want the court to... Oh, fucking hell. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. I'm glad that I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this whole fucking thing. Either way, what a dickhead. That's the thing. Can we just agree that he's a fucking dickhead? And can we agree that the fact that you lost to this dickhead, even if you win, the fact that it was close is enough. It shouldn't be close. It should not be close. They could have won this fucking thing if they just shut their fucking mouths and didn't... Oh. Jesus fucking Christ. If they didn't fully Darvo everybody and have it backfire and try to do the shit that fucking makes Trump look sane, they would have fucking won. I said this, read my article about the left and totalitarianism that I posted in March. I warned about this. I warned about it and I said, if you don't deal with this shit, you're going to lose. Right? And either way, even if you win, the fact that it was fucking even contested is embarrassing. Right? It's fucking embarrassing. Right? It's absolutely just shameful. This is, and that's the thing. This is what we need. Like, it's not about whether you win or not. It's about who you're winning against. If you're struggling to fucking win against Trump, if everything you say about him is true and and it's still close, how do you not reflect on this shit? How do you think that you're fucking coming up fucking ahead? Jesus, that's that again, see how I contradict myself? I'm not charitable there because I know why, because people just want to be comfortable. They don't want to know that a large cohort of radical feminists, socialists, Bernie supporters, working class, smart people, academics, doctors, professionals, scientists fucking voted Trump. They don't want to know that because they don't realize that people, logical people, rational people hate wokeism and it needs to be gone. And this is exactly what I warned would happen. It became an election about science deniers and fucking religious fucks. Right? It's basically, if you don't understand that the parties have flipped in terms of like reality and science denial and wealth, right? People still have this caricature of what a billionaire looks like in their minds. And they think the Republicans are the party of the billionaires with all the fucking big oil and all of this stuff. It's new money. Again, right? The billionaires, they just because they're smiling doesn't mean they're fucking not billionaires. But they're they're tech barons. They stole all our shit. They claimed our data as theirs, and they're fucking using it as a weapon against us. They did the same thing with the oil. The tech barons are the same as the fucking oil barons. They took public shit, they took our shit, and then they sold it back to us. Okay? Which party is like being supported by these guys, right? Ask that question. You got to get it out of your head. The big lie with this thing is that the Democrats are about the fucking workers. They're not. They're about biotech, big tech, pharma, fucking, all these highly lucrative things. Wall Street, hedge funds, Silicon Valley, media, right? Grossly concentrated media properties that are owned by fucking 8 people, most of which are Democrats, okay, except for Murdoch. So Murdoch's on the Republican side, but he's evil. Did you know that Jack is more powerful than fucking Rupert Murdoch? People fucking idiots. I quit. I don't quit. The reason I talk about this and I'm here is because I have no fucking other viable skills other than designing tech. I need to find another skill that's tactile and tangible. And I was thinking about going and just doing something in clinical work or social work or something that's fucking actually does some good in this world. Because, I do like building stuff. Like, I do have some websites, but they all want the fucking evil shit because it's just been established as law. And if you actually do operate ethically, you're at a disadvantage in the market. Like, that's because, they want SEO, and in order to have SEO, you need to work within that paradigm, and that paradigm is fucking rigged towards all the people with all the money. Okay, so that's how it is. Anyway, I want to be paid to just talk like this. Can someone pay me to talk like this? I need to be a pundit. Drunk punditry. I'm not drunk. I'm tipsy, but I'm not drunk. I'm tired, actually, more than anything. Because I've been fucking streaming all day. I streamed 6 hours today. Anyway. So, I think I'm going to go. Be back at 10:30. I'll be back at 7:30-ish. 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow. 8 o'clock probably, because I'm fucking tired. But please be rational. It's going to be fine. Get back to basics. Filter everything through what's true. Not what you think is true. What's actually true. Evidence, data. And again, have a healthy critique of that stuff. But, don't live in a bubble. If you're surprised by the outcome of this election or disappointed even, rather than thinking that this is actually completely predictable, as I have, I tend not to do predictions because, again, there's way too many. Anyone who's predicting this, there's way too many variables at the moment, right? But it is looking like Trump will win. But I'm not saying that I want him to, and I'm not saying that I am certain. I'm saying it's looking like it's playing out roughly the way that I expected. And I think we might have some surprises with the bigger states going more towards Trump, and they've taken the blue for granted. And I think that that's going to happen. I think there might be a surprise flip in some places. I do wonder if, because California and New York, right, have been really disconnected. There have been. California and New York are literally the ground zero for like parallel worlds, parallel narratives. And I do wonder, because they've both got Democratic mayors as well, I do wonder if the Democrats have just arrogantly assumed that it's going to be blue and it might flip. I don't know. Again, I'm speculating. I have no evidence, just gut feel, right? But a lot of people just, I don't see how you can be remotely considering, other than being, I've talked about this before, fucking rich cunts in California. How can you go to your $50 million fucking house, right? Maybe they don't leave them. Maybe that's the point, is that they don't actually leave their houses and go out in the street, that they're actually just living literally Like I think maybe celebrities don't understand the impact of lockdown because I think they often live in lockdown. It's part of the life is to live in your palatial mansion and never leave the house because you've got everything you need there. And if you do need something, you can send someone to get it or you can have it delivered, right? That's what money gets you. But I do wonder how when you're driving in a Bentley through LA with your $50 million mansion and all your fucking money and you see the homelessness, right? How is it not your main issue? And that's what I don't get. Like they're sitting there just how, and then they go and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to tweet about how Melania has a body double." What? How can you see that level of suffering and destruction and I don't understand how people reconcile that in their mind. I'm used to reconciling inconsistency, so maybe that's why I'm more comfortable with just being an outlier and just saying what I think and working through problems because nobody knows everything. I just work through the problem. Often a lot of my streams are just working through dissonance and going, okay, these two competing thoughts are happening at once. All right, what's the theory? What are the arguments? What's the thing? All those things, all these fucking competing things, right? But I don't understand how an ordinary person without a fucking retard brain like mine, fucking Rain Man bullshit that I go through, it's not fun. But I wonder how somebody with an average functioning conscious brain with that in that position are sitting there yelling at another rich person because it's how do they not see it? How do they not see that they should be using their platform for real problems? Or do they just think that projecting it onto Trump? Okay. By projecting it onto Trump and making him larger than life, right? I do find it funny because I have joked before that the TERFs we've basically just turned into fucking the most powerful Medusa. Like I understand these mythological creatures, especially with female ones, how they become morphed and develop and the narratives and you become like these basically like gods that can fucking like just the mythology around this stuff. And I'm just a person. I'm just an average person who knows probably more than most about this stuff, but I'm still just like an ordinary person trying to get through the world. And how they've built Trump up into this, it's almost like they want him to be Hitler. It's almost like they want that because it's almost like that yearning for the hero's journey. They want that meaning. They want to feel like all of the time they spend jerking off on Twitter, all of the time they spend talking about stupid fucking bullshit, all of the time that they invest in doom scrolling and talking shit and clapbacks and being nasty and being bullies. I think deep down, the reason why they make him so huge as a villain is because he would need to be to justify it, right? And that's why they project this image. It's like with the whole gender critical debate, the TERF thing, right? The only way, and this is, you have to dehumanize somebody before you can mistreat them, right? Because most human beings can't mistreat something that they haven't dehumanized first. Because if we actually sat and, focused on our shared humanity, you would realize that this tribalism is actually counterproductive and that most people should be working together. But this is with the gender wars, it's the same thing, right? Which is that if your enemy is so awful, right, it makes it easier to justify again, there's just that dissonance. Imagine somebody who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in transition, right? Or I can't imagine what it would be like to be someone like Susie Green from Mermaids. I can't imagine. I've talked about this before. Imagine having done that to your kid and to suddenly realize, holy fuck, right? I can't imagine how painful that would be to go through that. Like, I'm comfortable in that's why I always assume that I'm wrong, because I think it's also a coping mechanism, because I also know that if I have a tendency to really fuck up, right? I fucked up with my kids and stuff. I know that. But yeah, we can say it's male pattern abuse, but at the same time, let's take that out of the equation. Okay, let's take that out of the equation just for a second, because we're being empathetic, right? We're trying to talk about the state of mind. Okay, yes, there's entitlement and all of that socialization stuff. Let's just park that for a second. But imagine if you've invested all of this stuff, all of this emotional energy. Imagine if you've gone into a cult. Like, this is the same thing. This is why it's a cult, because people who, look at the stories of ex-Scientologists where they've treated people a certain way. They've been part of the bullying. They've snitched on fucking other cult members. They've been part of the bullying. They've been part of the pack. Okay, they're complicit in all of it. But imagine if you also mutilated your body, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, only to suddenly hear someone who just changes your mind, right? I have a feeling that deep down, the reason why we get so much hate is because they know we're right. And that's the thing. And that's why I'm trying to be patient, because that's a very painful process. Again, if you treat it like, you can't just go around. I said this, I was ranting about the use of the word cult. You can't sit there calling it a cult without treating it like a cult. Cults have victims. Okay. And people leave cults at different rates and they take a long time to come out of them. And the worst thing that you can do when someone comes out of a cult or just starts to have that dissonance or starts to, is to fucking bully them. Okay. And that's why I've said this repeatedly. And that's why I think it's really frustrating when people use the word cult lightly, because that has it's very specific psychology to it, right? It is delicate, they are vulnerable, and it is painful, and it is fucking awful. When people wake up to what they have been doing to these young kids, it's, we need to be there for them, right? That's the thing. I don't, and it's the same thing. That's why I was looking at what Trump said, because it's like, you know what? You know what a classy person does? Right? They don't he's a fuckwit. The classy thing to do would be to just fucking not prove people right. Not gloat. And that was the thing I was hoping, that and I'm still hoping that this can happen, but if Donald Trump wins, right, this is something I really like to teach my kids, and it's so fucking never heard of. Seems to be forgotten. All of these things are just fucking thrown out all of a sudden. But the concept of gracious winning, all I want is just some fucking graciousness and some class and some empathy. Real empathy, not weaponized empathy, but actual fucking empathy, where you go, okay, good fight, shake hands. All right, see you in 4 years. Okay? That's all that's what it should be, and we're just so far away from that. Right? Yeah, I'm not going to go with the evil thing. I don't validate that view. I don't believe people are evil. Or inherently good or evil. I believe people are victims of their own circumstances, and it's a combination of factors. I have been called evil, and I don't like it, and I'm not evil, and I'm sure I've heard the opposite. I've heard that Trump is actually quite the opposite. He's very misunderstood. That's something I've heard from people who've actually interacted with him in person, right? I don't believe that anyone is inherently evil or good, aside from, those psychopaths, right? But I don't believe that he's a psychopath. I believe that he is, if you actually know Trump's story, I can't see how he wouldn't have turned out the way he turned out. That's cool. That's what I'm saying, is that, and as someone who's worked with people who've been written off, I would be more charitable, right? Because I think that it's just one of those things where he has been absolutely demonized. And I'm not saying he's not a fuckwit, but I'm also saying that he's not evil. See, there's a difference between being a fucking fuckwit and a dickhead and being evil. Evil is a serious accusation, right? Cult, they're serious. We need to put the gravity back into words again. And I like to use the words as intended and meant. And I don't use the word evil very lightly. I can't think of many things that are, I would say, are evil. Obviously anyone who gaslights somebody else, there's probably an evil act. Again, separating the act from the person. I don't believe any one person is evil. I believe people are capable of incredibly evil acts in the right circumstances. And we're seeing it. We're seeing what mob rule does to people's fucking heads. It makes them behave in ways that they would not ordinarily, right? But I don't believe in inherent evil or inherent good. I don't like that. I don't think that I think that's just binary thinking again. It's like it's way more complicated than that. And it's also, people can be both good and evil at the same time. And also, we can often not be clear on what good is or evil until it plays out, right? And this is one of the things with Trump, which is that this may end up being a net gain for the country. It's just, we don't know yet. It's the eye of the storm, so we're not in it. We don't know what history. Again, we don't know what the end result's going to be, what the consequences are going to be. Seems we've got some pretty big fucking unintended consequences from lefties running shit. So I'm curious to see what happens, right? That's the nature. That's true progressive. Is that you just always want to be seeing how things go and recalibrating and correcting and making sure that it's like, let's try it. Let's see how it goes and try to Yeah, I don't think he's a sociopath. I think he's a narcissist and the product of his environment. I think, again, sociopath is a very grave thing. I think he's just he reminds me of every fucking dickhead CEO with a fucking like Napoleon complex that I've ever fucking met in my life. So maybe because I'm the kind of person that brings people like that to their knees. I'm the kind of person that would just poke him with his daddy issues and he'd be on the fucking floor. So I'm not afraid of people like Trump. I know how to handle them. I've been abused my whole fucking life by narcissists. I know how to handle them, right? I know how to hit them exactly in the soft spots, right? Paul, did you order dinner? Or is that my fucking job? Hey, whatever. Choose something. Emotional labor, etc. Paul said we can't order emotional labor. See, I got to do everything around here. What? Again, I think we need to be careful with our words. And I don't mean careful with our words in terms of joking, right? I'm going to address the sociopath. I think what we need to do is make words mean what they mean again, and be specific about definitions and what they mean. That's like the overarching thing here. And I talked about this before. Americans change. Like, people throw around. I've been accused of being a narcissist my whole fucking. It's like, no, I'm just misunderstood, right? I'm just fucking autistic, and I don't care. Right? I do care about my priorities are different to other people, which is I don't care about. I can't be like emotionally blackmailed into fucking things. Right? I have very strong boundaries, and I've got boundaries because I've had to have them. Again, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. They're different things, right? And but I think when we say sociopath, we need to make sure that we clearly define that. When we say narcissist, we need to clearly define that. And we need to I think words need to have the gravity put back into them when we say them. And it's frustrating me because I'm in an area where everyone's a fucking expert all of a sudden when they're not. And like, no one listens to me because I'm using words that people are throwing around, but I actually use with gravity, and it makes my job harder, right? So if we actually need to say, it's like, like, again, this is a cult. It's an online cult that's come out of the internet, something that was unanticipated. I can explain sort of where and how it happened, right? But if that is caught up in a fucking war between tribes where me even just saying it's a cult makes me a fucking alt-right, then we don't get anywhere, right? And that's the thing. So I just want words to mean what they mean. Again, I want to make sure that they're clearly defined. And if you're going to change language, you need to come up with new words, not redefining old words, but actually, get creative, linguists. Seeing as you're all fucking linguistics, you should be able to come up with new fucking words, right? Can we invent some new words for like where we can keep woman? Like Womixen. That was the thing. Like remember the Womixen thing? I'm all for that as long as they can have it. I'm not having it. I'm a woman. But if you want Womixen, fucking fill your boots. Right? Fill your boots. Go for it. That fucking thing. I cannot believe. How do people not see? It's like calling all biological women vulva owners, menstruators, uterus havers, fucking etc. etc. But I'm a woman. How do people not see what's fucking happened? Is it that the men have defined themselves as women and kicked women out? It's crazy. Whatever, Paul. Doesn't matter. You choose. Anyway, yeah, but I think narcissism, yes, but there's also, we've got to remember that narcissism is also healthy in a healthy individual, right? There is some degree of narcissism, and like the thing is that there's things that people define. Like people could define the fact that I was streaming for 6 fucking hours, or 7, nearly fucking 7 hours, right? That I'm a narcissist and that I'm seeking validation. I'm not. It's about like you. This is where I think it becomes about mind reading, right? Sometimes, yes, there is that thing, right, where you judge people on their actions, but sometimes people's actions are complicated and they, you know, like again, that's that principle of charity again that I'm talking about, where, or principle of humanity, that what you do is you assume the best of things, right? Which is that you assume that people are coming from the right place. Now, if they give you every indication that they're not, like in the case of TRAs, fucking gloves are off, right? If that particular person has been uncharitable in the past, then obviously that's a boundary that they don't own. But if it's you'll see how I operate online, which is that if it's a new person that I'm unfamiliar with and they're unsure or they're saying something that is unclear, I'll engage them and I will assume they just don't know, or I'll assume the best. I will assume they're a good person. 6 times out of 10, they turn out to be a fucking TRA cunt and call me a fucking like whatever. But I try, because there's those 4 out of 10 that might actually, again, it's just one of those things, right? You don't change hearts and minds overnight. It's incremental. It happens over periods of time with small things and one-on-one, right? And I do have some sway with the left because I agree with them, right? And once you just block the fucking dickhead voices and don't engage with them, use your energy wisely. Don't engage with people that can't be converted. But also, like, again, there are, and this is, I think, it's a shame Jane's fucking probably passed out, because she would actually agree. Like, the people have taken these ideas and concepts and turned them into something that they're not. Like the DSM, right? Armchair diagnosing people with personality disorders. Well, it's fun. I like doing it. It's fucking fun. I think that it does take the weight away from it when and also the behavior. So like, I think it's that sort of that problem with self-diagnosis in general. And I know this because I've got ADHD and on the spectrum, but I've only had it validated that I'm likely on the spectrum. I haven't gone through the diagnosis again, so I don't really say it. I'm just spectrumy, right? But I am a diagnosed ADHD. Yes, exactly. Wacky Pidge said you don't debate for the TRA's benefit, but for the onlookers. Absolutely. Exactly. So be strategic about it. Don't use the reply function though, okay? Because that'll get you banned. That's as established as gravity, okay? Don't misgender in replies. You're banned. You're on your own. Anyway, so, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was saying it's easy to me, and I'm somebody who, it's an example of being misunderstood a lot, right? Which is that I come from a good place. I come from the right place. I come from a place that is one of, it's not that I'm trying to be provocative for provocation's sake. I swear because it's effective. I swear because it gets attention, but it's not because I want attention. I want anything but that, right? I like having background influence. Background influence is what you want. You don't want fucking fame. Fuck that shit. But the behaviors can be confusing. They can be confused because I'm just outrageous because I don't, it's just one of those things where I just go, oh, I'll just say what I want. And I'm funny. I'm trying to be funny. Most of the time I'm just trying to be a funny fucking make a joke that makes everyone laugh. But my goal, again, it's about the motivations. It can be mistaken. Again, it's just someone who's been misunderstood and mischaracterized as a cunt fucking narcissist my whole life, or a snob, or someone who's, people project their own shit onto you. And I think that we should not, I think these words need to have their gravity back. I don't know if I've been talking shit because I'm tired. I'm going to go soon, I think. But I think we need to get gravity back. Anyway, so let's check in. I think they're about to wake up again now. Should I keep going? Where are we? Mating season they started fucking again or what? Let's sandwich it with what we love about America. I love America because they gave us yo mama jokes. And what else? There's not many things. Gave us Ben Folds. And they gave us great music. Blues music. They gave us jazz. That's the thing. Elvis. They gave us Elvis. There we go. Although Elvis, yes please, Elvis culturally appropriated his music. So, racist. Fuck, I wouldn't want to be a musician right now. Remember how when like in the 90s you'd have actually Paul will remember this. In the 90s you had like musicians and they'd have like a hit, like a rock hit, right? And then what they do is like they go off there on their second album and they'd like fucking go with marimbas and fucking world music and they all just go off and become fucking weird. Like Alanis Morissette when she had Jagged Little Pill and it was a great album. And then she fucking went to India and then took all the shit from India. Ben Lee went to India and fucking started bringing marimbas in. You can't do that now.
Their first album's better.
Yeah, well maybe we should stop culturally appropriating because then there'd be fewer fucking marimbas. Isn't marimba African? Not Indian? Sitar. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of marimba. Marimba's African. Sitar. I'm sure it's like one particular tribe in Africa. I don't fucking care. Whatever. You know what I meant. Can we get back to you know what I fucking meant? Charity. Charitable. Assume the best of everyone, even your enemy. Try to understand where people are coming from. It's not fucking hard. Well, it's sometimes hard when they're fucking flailing at you. But try to understand. Unless they're a spoiled fucking teenager and then you just tell them to fuck off. And grow up and come back when they've grown up. I'm a walking contradiction, I am. It's amazing how, do you know what I find funny? Depending on how far you get into my streams or which part you log into, I'm either like incredibly profound and smart and wise or the worst fucking person in the world. You never know what you're going to get. Anyway, here's my fucking super chats. I'm going to go. I'm exhausted. We'll be back to debrief with Sam tomorrow. And I'll try not to fucking talk over him as much as I did. Jesus shit fucking Christ. I talk too much. Far out. I could easily keep going for another 6 hours. You know that, right? I really could just stream for 24 fucking hours straight and just talk about the world. And whoever comes, whoever doesn't, and it's all a thing. I'm a lot for people. I'd live with this noise all day, every day. Hyundai. See, there's another. That was not a sponsored post. That was not product placement. Remember the old ads from the 80s? How they had great jingles. We don't have great jingles anymore. We really don't have great jingles. Like if you're in Australia, there was that real. Maybe everyone thinks that the decade that they were a teenager was the best decade. But fucking hell, the 90s were great. It's almost like we figured shit out. Gen X, we're like, fuck you to authority and the boomers. Like we gave up. We realized it was rigged. We didn't give a fuck. And then somehow we forgot to grow up and lead. But, that's... we forgot. We were too busy fucking, playing with, like, all these new things that we forgot to take charge. And the millennials took over. But it's funny, right? Oh, thank you, Diane. That's very kind. I like that I've just maybe providing some just comfort in the craziness. And that we can still just be dumb and silly. Are you going to come talk for a minute?
No, I was just thinking of the I like Americans thing.
Yeah. What do you like Americans? What do you like about Americans?
I like Americans because they show their secret location bunkers on reality TV.
This is what Paul said. I like Americans because they show their secret. This is actually, do you know what this does? It's actually true. It is so fucking true. It is the paradox. It is the paradox of America. That they will show their secret location, doomsday prep, nuclear bunker on reality TV. Doesn't that really sum them up? Here's all my secret stash. Here's my paranoid, delusional fucking state. I can't tell you the location, but I'm going to fucking walk you through it like it's Cribs and show it to you. And it's an undisclosed location, but you can pretty much extrapolate where it is based on fucking, various things.
Yeah, this is the state and town and where it's near.
This is the state and the town, and it's roughly near here.
And here's a shot of all of the...
And yeah, here's the shot of the surroundings.
Find out where it is.
That absolutely fucking sums them up. That sums up America in like one nutshell. We should fucking, you know what? Nearly 3 hours I've been going, and Paul just comes in and steals the fucking show with that 15-second insight. It's so true. It's like, it is, and it really is about like the whole corona thing. It's like what I said, dying on just the most stupid feels, but there's an audacity to it, and an audacious audacity or audaciousness. I know audacity is an app, but I don't know whether that's the word. But it's audacious, right? It's just ridiculous that like it's it's everything about wokeism is everything America is, which is just constantly fucking walking in a constant state of dissonance. And somehow, like, being... I don't get it. I just, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's funny. Americans are awesome. I love you all. And okay, I'm going to close off the stream with a genuine fucking moment, right? I fucking love America. As much as I roast the shit, I love Americans. Right? I love Americans so much because there is just something, there's something childlike about American culture. And yes, they've been sold on this American dream, and I do hope, we know it's fucking bullshit, right? But it just goes to show what a little bit of like a collective sense of fucking goodness can do. Just to pull people together, right? One collective idea, right? And yes, it might be a corrupt idea, and it might be bullshit, but like it's a comfortable lie. Those comforting lies, right? And like this idea that you can actually just speak your mind, and fucking anybody can make it, right? Now, it is a nice idea, and I hope that it is I do hope that this is just one of those things where it just fucking went off center for a while. And I'd like to see Americans, don't fucking laugh at me. Don't laugh. I'd like to see America really embrace I think that America, as much as we've been invaded by American culture, one thing's for sure is that Americans have also been invaded by us. And this is the optimistic thing about that, is that it's not it is, sometimes it feels like a one-way exchange because they're loud, right? I love how I sit there saying they're loud and they fucking talk too much on a 3-hour stream of a 7-hour fucking stream session where I interrupted fucking everyone and just talk shit for fucking 7 hours straight. But anyway, let's move on. But there's this, remember that the big part about this internet stuff is that even if there is an exchange happening. There's a two-way exchange happening. They're becoming aware of the crimes of their country in the past. There's a consciousness raising that hasn't existed in the US largely, right? When you look at it from the outside, again, this could not be true. It could be that there's always been a very strong grassroots socialist movement. I doubt it, right? But let's have some optimism here, which is that it's not a one-way. It feels like a one-way exchange a lot of the time, but some of it does get in there. And some of the stuff, like when I say, you guys don't know what give them marks, and I'm not saying let's turn fucking into, let's just give them the right tools to really truthfully and honestly assess the situation that they find themselves in. And this is why I think big tech and America really see the threat, because ultimately there is that exchange and those ideas. This is why communist China have a firewall, okay, because they don't want those ideas. The one thing that we should give America credit for is that they are at least receiving information, right? Now, Twitter are trying as best they can to keep that sort of corporate capitalist American dominant thing. But I think that there's, like I said, with the movement, some of the movements that are happening, people on the streets, that's real. That's authentic. There is an exchange, right? James Lindsay's work, again, I can poke some holes in it, and it's great, and that he would be open to that. And we've had this conversation, right? I'd like to have that conversation on a stream with him sometime when he's less fucking busy being right, right? But I have talked to him privately about, and I've given him and Helen that feedback, which is, it's like, you probably need to look more into there's a political aspect to this with, international law that you're not really sort of seeing. But like, making people question what they take as true is very dangerous. So I am somebody where it's like, they're not the far left, right? The wokes aren't the far left. Just like the wokes are no more far left than the MAGAs are far right. Okay, they're two concocted narratives. Think of them as like clubs that are being recruited, and you're on a track, right? You've joined, you're on team A or team B, and you've been profiled as faction A, faction B, right? And based on your makeup, right? Certain personalities are drawn to certain tribes. But if you turn around and say, well, both of those tribes are largely manufactured, largely to the benefit of the people that you think that you're trying to fight, and largely, here's some real tools, right? Here's the real naughty book, right? Which is, things like, I would recommend, actually, if you're in the US and you want a really nice digestible read of Marx, read Total Propaganda by Helen Raiser. I really 100% endorse that book. Also, David Grieber's Bullshit Jobs. It's a nice little start into socialism, right? But if you imagine the power that we have just by sitting here, and that's why big tech fucking like censoring people. They don't censor me yet. I imagine they will, but people like me are persuasive, because it's like, hey, you got the right idea, but you've got the wrong tools. Here's how you actually have a revolution. Right? And I don't think I think America is vulnerable. It's very much dying by its own sword in many ways. Right? It's interesting stuff. Anyway, that was a bit too sincere, and I'm also tired. And I also just had a glass of wine, so I start to waffle a bit. But I do wonder. That thing I said this. Was it earlier today? Do you know the thing that excites me is that I get to see if it will hold. Like these institutions, if they'll hold, if they can be, like I said before, if they can bend. And if it can survive something like this, because they haven't, like 9/11, that was just whatever. But again, it was something that was terrible, and united the country. But I think it united them in the wrong way, and it kind of went off track. I think it's been going off track for some time. I think it's been going off track since the 80s. But, you know, it's just fascinating to see whether, again, just always curious, always testing, always wondering what's next. I'm always sort of 5 years ahead. That's the thing. It's why I can't fucking sleep. It's why my brain works in a million ways, because I'm always fucking thinking of every potential scenario that can occur at any given time. It's also what makes me good at my job, because I also can see unforeseen consequences that other people can't. But I am genuinely excited and curious to see if the greatest system in the world, right, or self-proclaimed greatest system in the world, can stand. Right? I'm curious, because it's not just the US. It's actually the world is largely dominated by US, hegemonic forces. You got to understand your sort of imperialism stuff, right? That's good theory. I don't know if anyone's still watching, but I'm here as long as you want me to be. If you don't want me to go, then just tell me I don't go, and I'll just fucking talk shit. Say something. Come talk to me. But I will go soon, because we want to do a sort of short recap, and I do need to actually do some fucking research and follow what's going on. Right now they're predicting on CNN are saying that it's 224 to 213. Right, but I think that's because a lot of the key states are still contested, so we don't know. Right, it's crazy. It's not going to go away. So yeah, I don't know. But if you actually look at the fucking map, if you want to look at representation, right, just in terms of geography, let me just quickly do a screen share, right? Look at this fucking map, man. Is that not, it is interesting to see the map. How much of the middle of the country, how much is dominated by key large states, just in terms of numbers, right? It doesn't seem fair. Right. Anyway. It's interesting. So they are calling California for the Democrats. 65% Biden. Okay, that's interesting. So let's have a look at some of the numbers, before we go. So Florida's gone red, which is predicted winner. So that's with 96%. Okay, so that's gone to Trump. That's okay. South Carolina went to Trump. Georgia, small margin with Trump. North Carolina. So Trump is leading. Where all the things that are grey are not called. Trump's leading so far, except for Maine. Fucking Stephen King's favorite location, funnily enough. Okay, Wisconsin. Oh shit, that's close. Look, Nevada would be interesting. See, I like looking at the things that aren't foregone conclusions, right? Because a lot of people just sort of focus on how they roughly. This is the thing, right? I know the cultural stuff. I know roughly where the divide is, and what I do. Why I am better at getting this stuff probably closer than some political science model people who do models for a living. One of the things that they don't really know really well is the cultural stuff, right, and the cultural aspects. They do demographics, and they sort of project that based on demographics. But I think that a lot of political scientists, some haven't, some actually understand this really well. Good political scientists understand that the demographic assumptions around votes have flipped, and that Trump is sort of largely appealing to the working class. But if you don't factor that stuff in, and if you don't understand the culture wars that are going on, and don't see that large cohorts of women and black people, all the people that, LGBT people are actually shifting to the Republican Party, because the Republican Party have gone punk while the Democrats became Christian rock, right? If they don't understand that part, then their models are off. If you do understand that, then you're usually going to be correct. And it's sort of, that's why Nevada is an interesting one. That will be interesting because again, it's just it's demographics, but also like people get the models wrong because they don't pay attention the way I fucking do. I also know, I know, like it's not all Las Vegas, right? I know that it's a big state, right? But at the same time, I happen to know that a large cohort of entertainers and rockers and strip people like that are pretending to be fucking woke because it like they have to are not. That's not what they're doing in the ballot box. I know this, right? I know this for sure, especially like a bunch of comedians and stuff, right? So again, I'm not saying anyone in particular, but I'm just saying that I know what's going on. I talk to everyone. I talk to people. I have a good sample size of people in my network that I talk to. So that Nevada would be interesting in terms of that makeup. I'm probably talking shit at this point, but this is interesting. So what's the overall popular vote at the moment? I can't see it. Fucking what? Can't use a mouse. I'm in tech, didn't you know? Reset. Okay. Now, where's the fucking popular vote? Do we have it? President. We don't have it. I can't find it. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Where are we? America's Choice. How's that for gaslighting? America's Choice 2020. Yeah. Okay. Choose between this old guy and that old guy with the floppy head. That guy is worth a fucking $100 million and that guy is worth $100 million. Actually, whoops. Sorry. $1 billion. All right. So, anyway, where's the popular vote? Do we have it? I can't fucking see it. I don't know. I can't fucking navigate this thing. I'm too tired. If anyone can tell me the popular vote numbers, what that's happening. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh, hang on. It was right there, dumb fuck. See, this is where you get quality coverage. It's right in front of me. So 65 million, see, still fucking, that's abysmally low. Still high for usual, but like higher than usual turnout, but fucking hell. So 65, so Biden has so far 2.5 million more popular vote. Interesting. I didn't think that would be under the coloured bar. Thank you. There is nothing more frustrating than watching someone try to fucking navigate a screen that you can't control. I'm sorry for frustrating you with, oh, fucking fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't use a trackpad. I need to use a mouse. Anyway, okay. Thank you. But, right, that's, so it's bumping, or it's jumping around. It's bumping around. Can we just please have something where the winner gets the popular vote as well? Just for sanity. Please, electoral gods, can you just make that happen? Because they're just, Anyway, I'm tired. I did fucking, 7 hours of streaming today. Right? Jesus Christ. I want to do more. I like just being like just talking shit. Being an alternative. I think it's just important to present an alternative so that you're not tempted to sit and like refresh all this shit constantly. Right? Because they're fucking coming back online again. It's fucking witching hour again. Right? So they're going to start it again. It's all just going to start up. All the tweets, they're just going to, all the histrionics and all the fucking insanity. And it's like, can I just talk about discarded dicks in bags? And like, what do they do with all of the dicks? I'm like, okay, hang on. Let's go back into Wrong Town. When we're talking about medical waste, do the dicks go alongside the fetuses? And if so, is that pedophilia? That was bad even for me. It was pretty fucking bad, that one. I'm in fucking trouble. Good thing you can't fire me, fucks. What are you going to do? Complain to my boss? Who's me? Good luck firing an Australian for a fucking, you know, the crimes of their wife, you know. Fuckwits. Anyway. Do you know what I really hope? I really hope that one day I suddenly decide to run for office and that joke ends up being played everywhere on TV for everyone as my fucking... I will go down with that joke. It was a joke. It maybe seemed to be posed as a question, but it was actually just designed to make people fucking laugh and go into wrong town. This is where we are. Everyone has gone so far fucking downwards into the gutter. I'm making fetus, discarded dick, pedophile jokes. Anyway. You come for the education, you come for the fucking weird rants and crazy insights, and then we leave with a joke about discarded dicks and aborted fetuses. It is difficult. Can I just say it is difficult being in this fucking mind? Can I just say it's not fun? It's not fun living in... You have to... You listen to this voluntarily. I have to live with this fucking head on a daily basis. And I have a filter on right now. That was something I thought was appropriate to say. Jesus fucking Christ. This is how I stay sane, is by just fucking saying whatever I think and seeing what lands. Win, lose or draw. Ricky Gervais said it. If I fuck up, I'm blaming you, Ricky Gervais. He said win, lose or draw. Go for it. Try to be funny. So that's what I'm trying. Anyway. So, have I lost everybody yet or what? I'm hoping to see... Okay. As the numbers go, I'm following the election. My goal, the threshold to meet, is to lose 5 Facebook friends and 100 Twitter followers. It's important to set goals, children. Attainable goals. Not bullshit fucking carrot and stick bullshit goals where they tell you if you behave yourself and stop swearing and change everything you are about yourself, maybe they might give you a job worth 50 grand a year. Fuck off. I'll just be myself and make double that. How's that sound? Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm tired. I'm just hitting the wall now. Talking shit. There's a law of diminishing returns with me at this point. And I'm not sure whether I should just be fucking keeping going because I talk way more shit when I'm tired, or whether I should just call it a day. I'm going to call it a day. I think it's time. I've got to go read some shit because I'm doing an actual debrief with Sam in the morning. So I've got to be ready for that. But tune in for that tomorrow. I'll schedule it. We're all good. I love you. Thank you for your patient, precious, inexplicable investment in spending life seconds with me today. And let's just have fun. I like doing long bullshit streams. It's weird. I get to pretend that I've actually got friends. And Paul doesn't get bothered with my rants. You can be my company. Sane people. Anyway, I love you. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go. Fucking tired. Stay safe, stay sane. Fucking go to sleep. If you've stayed up watching the fucking shit all day, go to sleep. It's not that important. We're all fucked. Either way, open the news. It's going to be fucked. So go get some fucking sleep. Okay? Love you. Peace. Here's the elevator music. It's soothing. And I got a fucking copyright strike, so I'm going to have to get new fucking music. Fuck you. Bye. Love you all very much. Bye. Thank you for indulging me with this shit. Bye.